Welcome everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Frenzy Freestyle Sundays from the Children of Primus. February 26, 2023. This Sunday, we have our special guest, TOYWARP Vintage Reviews, who will be joining us shortly as he's come by a stream every now and then. And it's always a good time when he comes by. So we'll definitely have our questions for him this week.
I made it within the first minute.
There you go. How you do it, sir?
Not bad. I was just beautifying myself via my ring light to make sure I was ready for broadcast. I was literally sitting here with the button like, just
Hmm.
yeah.
Cool.
Well,
So, oh, go ahead.
no, I was just attempting to bring energy.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah.
Cool. So, as before Vintage joins us, we
hmm
could quickly jump into some of the news over the last few days.
hmm Yeah. I hope the big leak is on there, the one that I told you about previously.
Right.
Hello, Sleepy and Stephen Bach on YouTube. Oh, Sleepily. Okay. I thought it was a person named Sleepy who was also waving hello.
That would be funny. Well,
Mm.
hello, Stephen.
hmm Legend scale G1 battle damage Grimlock. Oh, hey, New Age. Ah, this is one of those things Professor D would know about. But that's not a bad looking kind of battle damage because usually I'm not a fan of that kind of thing. But if you just make them weathered like that, it winds up being a good look.
Yeah, this it does have a good look to it.
Yeah, yeah. I like how lanky his proportions are. Usually, most of these things prioritize the T Rex mode, and they got kind of a chunky looking robot mode.
Okay. Yeah, they actually did well with this compared to one of those other releases where the robot and the dinosaur mode both look questionable.
Oh, you're talking about the core class one that can combine.
Yes,
I'm still gonna get that one because I want to make the little combiner.
nice. Actually,
I
about
mean,
yeah, about how tall is when it's combined? About how tall is that one?
that's a good question. I think it's like a tall deluxe or a short Voyager because all four Dinobots all six of them because they added a new one there, the Ankylosaurus.
Right.
They're core class figures, so they're the size of these minifigures.
Okay. Yeah, that's not too
Yeah.
big.
Yeah, so you can sort of, given the fact that they're retail releases, they're only this big, and you got to combine. That's why they look kind of janky.
Got
Because
it.
I'm like they're doing a bunch of different things. Oh, Stephen Bach says I shall have one version of every deluxe Energon Autobot tomorrow. So hopefully she'll take pics of better looking combine modes, among other things. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That would be interesting. The seeing all the different shirt and pants combinations that line could do.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely let us know once you have it done and all the pics are ready.
Yeah. I don't have any figures from Energon, but if I was going to get one, it would obviously be Rodimus because Energon Rodimus is pretty nice looking.
Okay.
It's like the hot rod design, but it changes into a truck instead of a car.
Oh, okay, that's
But,
cool.
but, but like a long nosed movie Optimus type truck.
Got it.
There we go, eh?
There we go.
Legacy Evolution Commander Armada Optimus Prime. Um,
Yes.
th- this is the Optimus from Transformers Armada from 2002, getting a brand new figure. This is going to be the next Commander class figure now that Motor Master's out. This is a leak. Somebody bought him and said, "I hate the way these things are usually leaked. I'm just going to take a lot of pictures." Um, so it's like a Power Master Optimus Prime kind of setup where he's got the little robot in the battle base and they combine, and that's the combined form right there.
Okay. I mean, if
Yeah.
reading from what I've read so far, there's a bit of almost there's no middle ground in terms of people's love or hate for this release.
Yeah, you know what the difference is? Were you a kid in 2002 who was really into Transformers Armada? If so,
Right.
this is going to be your jam. Because, like, the biggest criticism about Armada stuff was that it wasn't really posable. After, like, Beast Wars and Beast Machines and stuff, they went back on it. So, like the original Optimus, his combined form, you couldn't move his legs at all. They were just solid blocks.
Okay.
And so a lot of the pictures of this guy, they're showing off the fact that he's, like, super articulated now. So that's something that a lot of people like looking at him.
Okay. And I guess what is the what were the negatives that people had towards him, and would they be in that generation to have had the negatives towards this release?
Yeah, the most I can come up with is he doesn't come with, and all the Legacy guys have this problem. They don't actually come with their mini cons, because
Okay.
in Armada every figure had a mini con partner with them, and
Right.
none of these guys come with them. So like Optimus doesn't have his. His mini con looked like Bumblebee, but it was named Sparkplug.
Okay.
Just funny little name association.
Yeah.
And it could attach to him. And obviously, this guy doesn't have any gimmicks. He just combines and is really posable. The original Armada Optimus, you could transform him, and his base was motorized, and it would open up, and he had
Okay.
lights and sounds. And I mean, you've seen them before. When I brought a bunch to TFCon, all of them like did stuff.
Yes.
Modern guys, they don't really do gimmicks anymore. They're just posable and solid.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the criticism. I think he doesn't come with his mini con. He doesn't have any of his original gimmicks. He's just a big posable figure.
Okay.
Stephen Bach says, gonna order Energon RC and Energon Insecticon come Friday and try weaponizing with all the Energon Omnicon and Terracons. I got the rest already. Oh yeah, Energon RC is interesting because the Rise of the Beasts one looks almost exactly the same as the Energon version, because she was also like a pink motorcycle with like a G1 type design.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems that the newer versions of RC, they've been really getting or they've been doing a good job in terms of her design.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm really fond of, like, okay, today I was at GameStop and I saw Studio Series Air Razor from the new movie, right?
Nice. Okay.
Um, just came out. It's not what I was looking for, but it was there. I didn't get it because I haven't seen the movie, and I'm like, I don't know if I care yet. Um,
Okay.
but if I see the little core RC they did, I'm gonna get that because it's just a nice looking motorcycle RC with a G1 design, and
Okay.
it's a core, so it's another one that's literally just this big. Like, that's how good I think that design is. I'm like, I'll get that on site, even if I haven't seen the movie, just because it's a good looking RC figure.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Brad Ernsberger says Armada toys hit different. I remember having a Unicron from one of those 2000s cartoons, and it's still my favorite toy to this day. Hey, you have a Unicron from one of those cartoons.
That is the same Unicron.
Yeah, he's probably talking about one of the different color schemes of that, because first they did a regular colors one, and they did the black repaint you got. But yeah,
Right.
that's still like if you didn't get the HasLab, that's still like the best Unicron you can get, basically.
And it's interesting where it's I guess any of the earlier collectors got that Unicron to include in their G1 set, even though
Mm-hmm.
technically he's not a G1 release.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, people that didn't care about Armada in like 2002 were buying the Unicron figure because it was the first big Unicron ever.
Hmm.
Yeah. And he says, I want to. Stephen Bach says, I want to get the Rise of the Beasts Transmetal 1 looking Cheetor. Yeah, it's a nice looking figure. He's getting a Voyager. And, once again, I want to see the movie first,
Right.
before I go in on any of this stuff. And Brad Ernstberger says it was massive. Oh, yeah, yeah, it's a big figure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was the regular yellow one. Yeah, so it's the one that my cousin Nick there has, and we brought it to
Yes.
TFCon to sell and haven't sold it yet. And Stephen Bach says, if I get an Air Razor, I would get the one that's more its own thing versus the Kingdom. I think he's talking about the non-Studio Series one that's also coming out.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know why this has a picture of Galvatron there, but Build-A-Buddy Optimus Prime announced.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, yeah, there it is. I don't know what these are, but there's some Japanese thing where you just like you build it with a little electric drill. It's like a little kid's toy. So you like assemble an Optimus.
Oh, that's very cool. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's a neat idea. It's got the
Hmm.
little drill, and you can put the screws in, but it's also like kid friendly, so they can just like have a little construction project.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which I wonder, what after it's released, if we'll see it like all sorts of little variations that you could do with this type of project.
Yeah, looks like it because you can just unscrew it and take it apart and put it together differently.
Hmm.
And presumably, there's other build a buddies like they do like John Deere and stuff. It says up there. So,
Nice.
oh yeah, Yukikaze, the next one of the train bots, the masterpiece ones. Gun to my head, I could not tell you which of these guys is which.
Same here.
Yeah, I'm like that's a train robot.
Hmm.
I only know Suikin because Thu Adams really wanted to get that one because he had one as a kid. So just because I watched the video of it, I'm like, that's the only train bot I know at a glance. So I'm like, this one is also green, and he also looks cool.
Hmm. Well, I guess the question is what is your knowledge in terms of the original release of the Trainbot toys?
Okay, so they were Diaclones originally,
Okay.
but they came out during Headmasters in Japan. They were still going back to the Diaclone well. So they came out alongside like the first series of Headmasters and Target Masters and Fort Max and that year of stuff. They just didn't
Okay.
come out here. They only came out in Japan.
Got it.
And yeah, they were little guys. They were like mini bot sized trains almost. And yeah, they just combine into Raiden. They were on the anime like a lot. They got a lot of screen time, just like a lot of combiner teams. Like good luck distinguishing their individual characters.
Okay. I didn't
Yeah,
realize that the original release of the toys were that small though.
yeah, yeah. Well, they're the same size as the Constructicons, basically.
Got it. Okay. Because I was gonna say Monstructor, about what size is he compared to the Constructicons?
Oh, he's like really tiny. I've seen photos of them side by side. That guy's like barely the size of a Voyager, you know?
Yeah, which I found weird. It's like he's a combiner, but like he's so like they just
Yeah,
made him so small.
yeah. But no, I believe the train bots are like roughly the same size as the Constructicons. It's
Okay.
also a six-man team because they're from Diaclone, so they came out around the same time originally.
Okay.
Various Transformers ties skipped by Canadian retailers now found at a liquidator. Well, this is news to me. Does this mean I can get them cheap?
This is interesting because that
Yeah,
barely ever happens on our side of the border.
yeah. Dumped to a liquidator after running into a warehouse. Yeah, but what liquidator? Where?
This is true. Let's click on the story and find out.
Yeah, I see a Kingdom Blaster there, which is fair. I never saw Kingdom Blaster, but like that didn't matter because he got the Legacy re-release anyway, and that's the one I picked up.
Right. Let's see, retail distribution and skipped by Walmart.
Ah,
Location is blank.
Quebec.
Oh, okay. So anyone that's over in Quebec, keep an eye out for this.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, those guys aren't. Brad Ernsberger says, I remember that the original releases were not cartoon correct at all. Was surprised seeing the sizes. He's talking about the train bots, I think.
I believe so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, those aren't rare. I've seen my GameStop in my mall still has a pipes. I mean, it doesn't have a slammer, but like he has a pipes.
Okay.
Those prices though, those aren't bad.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's funny just a stack of them.
Yeah. Um, it is true though that sometimes you'll see like winners and other things just randomly stock like somewhat older Transformers toys for like not a lot of money,
Yes.
but it's not reliable. Like you're not guaranteed. It's luck of the draw. Like I would not go there to try and find Transformers. I'd only go there if I was already there just to see.
I mean, with Winners and I believe there's two other stores. It's
Oh,
basically the same concept. Just whatever they just happen to have in stock. That's it.
yeah. Home Sense, I think.
I
Yeah,
believe so. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. So it's not any dedicated stock. Just whatever you happen to find.
yeah. That's what I mentioned this last week. I heard tell that good luck finding it, but there's a collaborative Dracula's for like $11, and I was like, I'll get it for $11. I don't have one of those. Yeah. Stephen Bach says, I also got Blaster via Legacy. Got him and Bulkhead at the same time from Target. Yeah, and you know, like, they sort of understand how retailers work at this point, because, like, they know that the last wave of a line is going to be hard to find, so that's why they just also put it in wave 1 of Legacy, like, in advance. They're like, they, like, sort of send a wave out to die, knowing that, like, they're just going to re-release it anyway.
Right.
Hello, Charlie.
Hello, how you doing?
Hey,
Not
Charlie,
bad.
how's it going?
Oh,
Did a
pretty
funky
good.
sideways loop. Brad Ernsberger says, there's this little shop in my town. They have out-of-box G1s for like $300+, and out-of-box Bumblebee was $150. Jeez.
Ooh.
I mean, okay, I could believe it, but still, that's tough.
Yeah.
And that would be different because, like, all the modern, like, reissues of him, he has a cartoon face now. So, like, $151 one would be like the old-fashioned Battle Mask one.
Yes.
Yeah. What's this? Roleplay weapons?
Yes. Optimus Prime roleplay weapons found at Five Below.
Oh, so that's his Last Night sword and Dark of the Moon axe, I guess.
Okay.
If I was going to guess by looking at them.
Let's see. Yep, it is. That is exactly what they are.
Oh, yeah. So I guess if you're one of those people that wants to cosplay, cosplay them, you can pick one of those up.
Mm-hmm. Although, somewhere along the line, somebody's made their own versions of these swords and probably even looks better than the retail version.
Yeah, a friend of mine used to work at a place called Fire and Steel. They make like sword replicas, like
Nice.
some foam ones, but mostly like the actual real metal deals. And they did have, when I was in there, they did make a big version of Optimus Prime's, like the sword on the left there, the Age of Extinction one.
Okay, that's cool.
Brad Ernsberger says, I remember that my dad will be on something.
Here?
Yeah. All right, well, we welcome multiple generations.
Yes.
And he's a Skywarp 62 has this big Optimus helmet from the 2007 movie. Did they make one of those? I believe they did. There's a famous picture of Peter Cullen from around that time doing the Hamlet thing, looking at the Optimus Prime mask.
Yeah, I had that helmet. It was pretty good.
Yeah, we're getting a fancy backdrop for is that TOYWARP, I think. Ah, there he is.
There he is.
Hey guys,
How you
Hello.
doing?
Hey,
can you all hear me?
yes.
Yep,
Yes.
Yep, nice and clear.
Oh, I'm so sorry you can hear me, man. Okay, great.
Mute.
Yeah. We just got some cool ambiance in your background for a little bit before you showed up.
Yeah, really cool, right?
Well, how are you doing, sir?
Oh, I am hanging in there. Had a pretty disappointing toy show this morning, but that's just the way it goes sometimes, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a toy car expo. It only happens once a year. Went last year. They had a really good mix of vintage and the new schlock, I like to call it. And this year it was really hard to find anything vintage. I walked out of there for under $50 and didn't get a whole bunch. So disappointing.
At the same time, easy on your wallet.
Yeah, but any reasoning behind that?
No, same guy running it. They had less tables this year. Yeah, I don't. Maybe guys are having a harder time finding vintage stuff to deal cheaper. Because the new stuff you can find cheap and then mark up at these big shows. To make profit. But yeah, I just didn't find what I was looking for this morning. Not a single stomper. I went and had some stompers in the cart, so but not a single stomper.
Yeah. What's a stomper truck?
Oh, 80s battery powered trucks.
Oh, is that the little ones?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Actually,
Yeah, this is a stomper. Let me see if he comes on. Yes. Working headlights. The four-wheel drive actually climbs over about anything. As a matter of fact, I got in trouble in elementary school because I turned one on and put it on a girl's head, and it tangled her hair up so bad they cut her hair to get the toy out of the out of the girl's hair.
Bet you they don't make those no more because of that.
Oh yeah, blame it on me. That's real great. Yeah, all the Stomper guys that are probably going to be watching tonight, because I shared it in the Stomper group too. All the Stomper guys watching, I said, it's your fault. Great. Yeah.
So that was the guy. Brad Ernsberger on YouTube says, I noticed recently that's a problem at convention this year. I went to one a couple weeks ago and there were maybe 2 to 3 tables. Well,
yeah, finding the old stuff's getting to be tougher and tougher.
Yeah, like, I don't know if this is a universal experience, but, like, the first couple conventions, because I sell things at conventions, and the first couple of conventions post-pandemic, I guess everybody was, like, so eager to take part in it that I just got cleaned out of all my stuff. So, like this year, I just haven't done any conventions until TFCon, because at that point I'll finally have enough stuff to, like, actually get a table. So, you know, my experiences are not universal, but I think maybe something like that might have happened with everybody else, too. They got cleaned out in, like, 2021 or 2022, and
I think more people are collecting stuff now. Like, because I'm in the toy aisles, I'm seeing, like, it used to be frowned upon, but it seems like everybody's just like, oh, I used to want that, and now ever since the COVID, now everybody's just like coming out of the woodwork and wanting to do whatever they held up doing or whatever. I think actually enjoy life.
Yeah,
nobody's immune to the guy from Thing they know.
That was a big problem in all the online auctions I take part of, and like Facebook and all the groups and stuff. You know, when 2020 hit, you couldn't touch stuff in the auctions anymore because all these guys who have been working for 10 plus years and never had time to compete in the auctions finally got in the auctions, and man, they drove the prices, everything just sky high. It was some money spending contest that was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, Stephen Bach says, toy car wise, in recent years I bought random Star Wars, maybe Stormtroopers, and Overwatch character cars, as well as Mario Kart. The latter I try to have one of every kart and driver. And inflation is bigger than ever. I'm feeling that for the near future it's going to be a chore to find things. It's already a chore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Stephen Buck says COVID made the Pokemon trading card game easy. Crazy. It just restored it back to its original 90s like
probably
status,
did.
you know? Yeah. I'm like, are people still after Charizards? I don't go there anymore, but I was a kid around that time, so.
Don't they cycle out or something? I mean, I don't know a whole lot about them, but don't, like, the characters like that we probably know of, don't they end up like cycling out and they introduce new characters and you can't play those old characters anymore?
Yeah, a lot of card games are like that. They'll just, like, as the rules change and like the game evolves, they'll like ban old stuff and like bring it back in and stuff like that. And that winds up affecting the value of stuff too, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't go to that.
Bruce Stew on YouTube has a whole thing on 90s toys. He does like comedy sketches, like animated comedy sketches, and he does a whole thing on 90s toys, and most of it was about the holographic Charizard. You said that, it just reminded me of that. It's hilarious. You probably want to go check it out.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Definitely. Oh yeah, Brad Ernsberger says, I remember having those original cards. I had binders of those original cards. My brother-in-law has a binder of cards, and we're like, you should get that appraised. You might be sitting on like valuable stuff, because he was like, he just had them from when he was a kid in the 90s. So
cool. And then Steven says they have annual rotation for standard play. Standard style play.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And I'm like, I'm sure that meant something, but
so as we welcome Vintage Toy Warp Reviews, welcome to the stream once again.
Thank you.
Cool. And tell us a bit about yourself.
Oh, man, you guys are going easy. Well, I'm a butthole. I like toys. No, I do mostly transportation-related toys, and then try to do reviews of them on the channel. Not a big action figure guy, mostly into just stuff with wheels and wings. it's so funny too because I always made fun of the action figure guys. Oh yeah, baby dolls for boys is all they are. And then I just realized when COVID hit, everyone was telling me, oh well, the Transformers are classified under action figures on eBay, right? I'm like, oh, that's kind of productive, isn't it? Yeah, just wheeled toys. My focus on my collections vary from obviously the G1 Transformers. I'm really big into the '80s Matchbox stuff. What they call the limited era. Hot Wheels about from the same era, and anything that had to do with monster trucks in the '80s. That's pretty much my wheelhouse. TOYWARP is the secondary channel. The big channel is Cruisers Motorsports, and over there they show. I actually showcase where I actually drive race cars, and just driving other people's cars and giving my impressions of them.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. Oh, Stephen Bach says, my niece and nephew still chase Charizards, as well as some lady in Florida and a girl in Britain I know due to getting into the game to teach my nephew. I don't even know how to play it myself. Oh, that's what's going on. Vintage is my dad. I can tell you that he's a jackass.
That's my boy.
And opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has them.
Yeah, we've already gone down that road.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing that I watched on your channel was the little, basically mini documentary you did about the remote control Bigfoot toy.
Oh,
Where you,
yeah.
Yeah. And it was like here's the whole franchise. Here's a bunch of scenic cinematography of me driving it around on like beaches in the wilderness and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know anything about any of these things, but like getting a guided tour of not just that one item, but like the whole franchise and everything. That was really interesting. And if anybody watching this wants to watch like one specific thing, that's the thing I recommend.
And I would say, man, like myself being old school, watching that video on Bigfoot, like it just brought back memories for me because like I remember a lot of that stuff, but I haven't seen it in decades. So it's just like seeing all the clips. I'm like, ooh, I remember that. I remember that. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Although there's one release.
The item in question.
Yeah, the item in question. That's one of them.
Yeah.
I think I covered it on another stream a little while back that I got the whole entire line of these trucks with all the different trucks and all the different accessories and stuff. But yeah. And it's not nitpicking you. I know you don't know it's not remote control. It's just battery operated. So for those shots, I wasn't controlling it. I was just kind of letting it go. I was trying to set up the camera and letting it go by the camera in scenic spots. It was, it was a pain in the butt.
You're right. That makes it even more impressive. I thought you were like controlling it in those shots, but
no such luck.
You're just like hoping a wild animal does what you need.
Well, I remember back then there was the original RC cars. I think it was like the Grasshopper and a few others, and then there was the smaller versions where you just basically put batteries in it and just let it go wherever you want because there's no control for it. But those were still fun to play with.
No, that's basically what the Stomper trucks are. I mean, obviously, there's no way to control these things, but they did come. They were offered with special tracks that had obstacles, and you could put hills in the track. The track was flexible. You could put little hills in the track and everything, so you didn't actually need to control anywhere. The track actually kept it self-contained.
Oh, so kind of like Hot Wheels, but like writ large.
Yeah, yeah, just Hot Wheels just under its own power instead of having something to turn the cars.
Yeah, and Brad says, see, it's weird because I feel like the newer generation doesn't realize how huge Bigfoot was like I was taught. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. The stuff in the little mini doc, that was all news to me. That's why it was so interesting. Like, I never heard of this until then.
Well, what's the popularity of monster trucks now?
Well, now it's huge. Obviously, Monster Jam is the biggest name in monster trucks now, and they've kind of now gone away from racing to the freestyle events where they do all the flips and turns and everything over the cars and over the obstacles and stuff. That's gotten bigger than the racing now. Okay. But Monster Jam and Bigfoot reached an impasse in 1999, I think it was, where Bigfoot no longer took part in Monster Jam. So as big as Bigfoot is, he's not part of the biggest monster truck thing in the world.
Okay.
I honestly think that, everyone's favorite's Gravedigger. He was always the fastest. I honestly think that his championships probably would have been cut in half if Bigfoot were around.
Interesting.
So it just kind of does its own thing.
Bigfoot takes part in other stuff that's not as big as Monster Jam. I don't remember the names of them off the top of my head, other than the Hot Wheels Power Tour series. Other than that, I don't know what the names of the competitions are, honestly.
Stephen Block says, speaking of monster trucks, I helped my nephew put together a functional Gravedigger model back in 2020. Yeah, so that's one I've heard of, too. And Brad Ernsberger says, I don't think that Monster Jam is as big as I remember it being. I remember Gravedigger and Maximum Destruction being everywhere, but I don't hear about Monster Jam as much.
All right, cool. Well, let's jump into our questions that we have for Toy Warp, which I also posed your question on Reddit and a few other places. So I'll read all the responses from that because a lot of people also jumped on, on answering your question. But the first question is, what made you get into Transformers?
Oh, well, when I was 6 years old, my three favorite things in the world were lasers, robots, and cars. Now, I couldn't find any place that put them all together until Transformers hit. When Transformers hit, that's it. I'm done. Lifetime. Yeah. Lifetime addiction. Yeah. That's what got me into Transformers. And the fact that, most of your Transformers were actual real cars. Even at 6 years old, I've been such a car nut my whole life that, I could recognize what kind of cars certain Autobots were. I could tell that the Lambo brothers were Lamborghinis. I knew the Datsun 280, the Volkswagen Bug. I knew what kinds of cars they were already, even at age 6. So, that just hooked me even more that they were using real cars. Not too many cartoons at the same time were, because of licensing rights, they couldn't use real cars. So, yeah, that's what it was for me.
Okay, cool. Now, of all the Transformer lines that exist, say from the G1, Beast Wars, Legacy, which line is your favorite and why?
It's going to be the only line I follow. It's going to be G1 just because I'm such an 80s kid. I really think toys peaked in the 80s when it came to, again, me being a car nut. Things being based after actual cars. And the G1 cartoon was just it for me too. What made it for me was voice acting was just so phenomenal. Wally Burr, running that whole program. If you've ever read the book from Dan Gilvezan, who explains what it was like to voice G1 Bumblebee, he mentions a few times how Wally Burr was such a slave driver on I'm getting the G1 voice guys to make their voices more epic and to be have perfection in the recordings, and it really shows in the cartoon. I mean, it absolutely does. So we got another guest.
How's it going, sir?
Hey, what's up, Spam? How you doing,
Nice. Well, good.
How's everyone?
Very good.
Not bad. We're just doing a little Q&A, talking about licensed alternate modes and Wally Burr and stuff like that.
The all new Bigfoot channel.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Children of Primus, all Bigfoot all the time.
Brad on YouTube says living with a Transformer nut makes you one yourself.
Hmm.
And
I think I might have explained it, but I'll recap it. When my kids were real small like that, they would come home and they would watch their own cartoons, and I was like, what is this crap? I tried to watch Armada with my son, and after watching Hot Shot go through so many mental gymnastics and explain his feelings and everything, I finally, just like this, and yelled at screams like, "You have a wire-guided missile launcher on your shoulder. blow something up. And I was like, listen, kid, you want to watch some real Transformers? Hold up. I got something for you. I put in the old Rhino DVDs, and yeah, that probably hooked him.
Nice.
Yeah. It's funny. Like Armada's not considered to be a good one. Like even in retrospect, so that was probably a good call. Like a lot of people like the figures that came out in the comics, and it had a really well known PS2 game. But like the show was like not very well produced. So
I don't know about produced. I can't really remember, like, if the animation was any good quality or anything. I honestly don't remember. I just remember the dialogue was just so
yeah.
boring.
Yeah, it had a because it was an anime that was dubbed into English, but for some reason they had to do it really quickly, so they didn't do a very good job of like translating it, and all the voice actors got like one take. So yeah, it has like a notoriously bad like English dub. So that's definitely what you were getting.
It's making more sense now. Okay.
Okay.
All right. All the Armada fans out there is like, man, where's this guy living?
Yeah.
Kill this guy.
Yeah. I'm getting hypnotized by that fan there. Like,
Yeah.
don't stare directly into it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Armada.
So Steven says, my cousin Brian was an airplane nut, so he knew all the jets and helicopters Decepticons were.
Yeah.
And Brad says, looking back, Armada is garbage. These days, I could tell you so much about Transformers. I'll be showing my G1 to my kids if I have them. The Armada animation was good, had an early 90s look to it.
Yeah. Like the biggest problem was just like it had like a rush dub. So,
Which is really weird because there's so much dialogue. You figured they could cut out some of the dialogue and maybe edit it in more of the action or whatever. It just they talked about their feelings so much. I didn't know if I was watching Transformers or Oprah. It was just blow something up.
yeah. Yeah, it was like aired nearly simultaneously in Japan and the US. That's how like quickly they were like dubbing it.
Well, it's funny. The early Voltron cartoons kind of fell under that same concept, and it became the running joke where it's like out of the 22-minute episode, 18 minutes of it is just banter between the good and bad guys. Then they form Voltron, forms Blazing Swords. Episode's done.
True.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Hey.
We're just putting the interrogation light onto Toy Warp.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys ever watched or had the older Voltron DVDs. Oh God, I don't know if they were a Rhino release or not. They came in the tins, but they had both the Japanese and American versions on them. I tried to watch the American versions, and I got about 3 episodes in. I just couldn't watch it anymore. It's just one of those cartoons that didn't age well. It was very, very pandering to 5 and under. But then I let them go for a couple of years, and I was on some forum one day complaining about how it didn't age well. And they're like, well, did you watch the Japanese version with the American subtitles? I was like, no, why would I do that? I'm like, oh, no, you got to do that. You got to do that. Oh, okay. And then I watched it, and I was like, no. Oh, man, I don't know if you guys know, but, man, it was downright brutal. I mean, there was cannibalism, forced cannibalism.
Wow. Okay.
There was stuff I don't even want to mention on the stream in this Japanese cartoon. Brought a whole nother light to Voltron, let me tell you that. Wow.
They don't even. Yeah, like I Japanese kids entertainment. They just don't care. They'll just put anything in there.
Exactly. Right. Something to be said for that, though.
Was Brad said you just explained Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, we reached the point when that aired in the 90s where like they weren't like trying to censor it. So I watched that on TV as a kid, and I'm like, people are dying, people are getting holes shot up in their chest, people are getting the crap kicked out of them. And even as a kid, I'm like, this feels like maybe I should not be watching this, but I'm gonna,
Brad says the newer Voltron revived the whole franchise. Haven't seen it yet, but it's booming.
Yeah.
Oh,
See,
you talking about Voltron Legendary Defender?
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, I haven't
Oh.
watched it yet myself. Either.
Holy crap, that is good.
Yeah,
It is
I like
really good. It's good without being the ultra violent Japanese version. It really brings more light and so much more character development onto the Paladins. It is amazing. I highly recommend it. If you're an old Voltron fan, you will not be disappointed by that show.
oh yeah, there's that big one there.
Mm-hmm.
That's lovely.
Nice.
Oh, wait a minute.
Battle of the Voltrons.
Yeah,
Oh.
Just having one of those experiences where you try not to knock everything down.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But that's the original for Matchbox.
Oh, nice.
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 It was obviously from a Japanese toy line from before, but when it was brought to the U.S., Matchbox are the ones, kind of like Hasbro did with Transformers and Diaclone. They did this with Voltron. It was a Matchbox product.
Gao
Man,
something
those
or
sounds
other.
at home. Yeah, I had that one too, and the Blitzway one too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's the
That's
wide
the one
cam.
with the lead paint and everything on it.
I think.
Yeah. The thing that I always like to bring up is the version that I'm familiar with was the version that existed in the 90s, which was called Voltron the Third Dimension and was CGI animated. I watched that when I was younger. Like, they didn't redesign Voltron or anything, and it was billed as a sequel to the original cartoon. That's just the one I'm familiar with. They had Tim Curry voicing Prince Lothar. That was an interesting voice pull.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, that's the only. I think Susan Blue, RC, played Allura. But yeah, that's just. I became familiar with the setting and characters throughout that. They didn't really reinvent the wheel. It was the same Voltron and the same group of pilots. Just, oh, they're back, so we got to do this again. And then later on, they got a stealth upgrade. But the original Voltron was still there too.
Okay.
Yeah, it was CGI animated, and they motion captured the people.
In the 90s?
Yeah, in the 90s. I don't know if it was like the best CGI animation, but
I mean, excuse me, yeah, probably not. But I mean, it just I would kind of expect out of the 90s. I didn't expect mocap out of the 90s.
Yeah. It was always a little bit exaggerated because they were obviously telling the people motion capturing to play it up so that it would be noticeable. See if I can find a picture.
So Steven says, Brad, I watched half or more of Dragon Ball Super in Japanese back in 2018 and 2019 because I got tired of waiting for English dubs. And Brad is asking, isn't that Unicron in the back that we were talking about earlier?
What, my HasLab?
Yeah, that's a HasLab. That's the big bad boy. That's not the Armada one.
Not the Armada one.
Oh, I've got Armada too. He's up there on that shelf.
It's the biggest Voltron ever.
Brad's got the Armada too because I think I'm holding it for him.
Look how small the Armada one is in comparison, though.
Oh, I know.
Oh wow! Yeah, I never saw the size comparison.
Is that Kranix on his shoulder?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that little planet dude.
Yeah.
Brad Erzberger says, "Yo, that brings me back to my childhood. Which thing?" I mean, that's what this show is.
Yeah.
If he's talking about Unicron, he's a good egg.
This is Studio Cell.
Yeah, the medium-sized one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had that one too. I have the pumpkin version of that one.
The pumpkin version makes me laugh when I see that window.
Yeah, it's very.
And now I got to know what pumpkin version is.
It's just orange where the yellow is.
Mm-hmm.
You should get the upgraded rings too. They look pretty good.
Yeah.
I have the HasLab Unicron too, but I keep them in the planet form. I'm hoping HasLab will come out with the Primus. If I can put them side by side, that'd be pretty awesome. Nice. Those are on sale at GameStop right now too. Anyone looking? 25.
Oh yeah. Can't believe how gigantic that thing is when I saw it in person. And that's like a solid slab of plastic too.
That and the Soundwave, they're both like, I think Soundwave's like $16, but that's $23 on GameStop right now.
Yeah, so I remember this looking better than it was. Those are some freaky looking humans, but that's what the '90s one looked like.
Oh, that's almost like the reboot series kind of.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
You
You said reboot. Yeah, that clicked. Memory unlocked.
You see, the secret was
Reboot
Reboot had the foresight to be like, we know this doesn't look realistic, so we're going to write this show as being set inside a computer, so you don't have to pretend that those are normal humans, like unlike those guys there.
Yep.
This is the part where I note I haven't actually watched this show since it came out back in the day, so I forgot. I remembered them as looking better than that.
Wow.
Never heard of it. Wow.
Yeah.
Got those rose-colored glasses.
Yeah, no, straight up. But I mean, like, and you could see right there. Anyway, it was like they didn't it was the same robot. Like they didn't change the design of that at all. It was just CGI animated now. So at least that part's hard to mess up even when it's CGI.
Wow. So, all right, let's jump back to Toy Warp for a second. So, the next question: how many figures would you estimate that you own?
You know what? Honestly, I never counted them out. My whole goal for the collection, though, was to own every single toy from season 1, season 2, and the movie. That was my goal for my collection.
Me too.
Still not there, Bumble Jumper's an expensive one, and I've decided that the only way I want him is on the card. So that's a big one I'm waiting for. But
Good luck.
yeah, I know. I know a guy actually locally in the local shop that has one, but the price is up there. So, I honestly never counted them out. I never was looking for numbers, especially because I've got 2 of a lot of them just to show them in both modes. I've got backups of the mini bots because I've bought so many like lots and ended up with so many extra mini bots that I don't even display them. I just keep them in a box. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I have never counted them out.
Okay. Yeah, every time this question comes up, we're always like, "Oh, now I want to see how much we got, how much I got."
Yep.
How much was that Bumble Jumper carded? I'm curious.
Just over 300.
3,000 maybe.
Yeah, it's $2,200.
Carded, I wouldn't know.
$2,200.
Yeah, him loose is about
Him loose is $300-400.
Yeah, depending. And don't let it be like a Brazil or a Argentina variant. Then the price goes up even more.
Yep, man knows his G1s.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that I don't have. I don't have the deluxe Insecticons. Hell, I didn't even learn about them, I think, until about 2012. I'm like, wait, there was what? You're joking me, right? Never anything in the cartoon. A small mention in the comic. Yeah, that was it. It was like, okay, great. Now I got to spend an extra $1,000 to get those. Cool. All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was never into the deluxe Insecticons. Like I knew they existed, but it's just it was between like them and then Whirl and Roadbuster. Just these characters that existed that weren't in the cartoon, but then yet I had jump starters. It's like everyone seemed to have the jump starters, but no one knew anything about them.
Yeah, well, and the jump starters too. They were like $5 a piece.
They're still cheap.
Yep.
Yeah. Even boxes.
I can totally identify with Toy Warp on that one. I had no idea about the deluxe Insecticons until I got into collecting seriously.
Yeah. I was just reading Brad Ernsberger's message, and I'm seeing if I could find what he was talking about. It's like, I don't know if Vintage remembers, but there was this Optimus and Megatron 2-pack with some sort of DVD. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember it existing. I think it was this one. This came with a DVD, and this is from the 2000s.
He better remember it existing. I believe he had it.
Yeah. My depths of the depths of my brain made me go, is he talking about the classics pack? So I'm like, is it that one? I think it's that one. That came with a DVD.
I remember I got Brad. What was it? It was Armada. Yeah, it was Armada Prime. And man, he was intricate. He had all sorts of little PC parts and stuff with him, and I had to. He wanted the neighbor kid to like him, so he went and he traded it to the neighbor kid for like a Hot Wheels car or something. I took that Hot Wheels car, I went marching back up there to the mom, like, excuse me, hold on. That's like an $80 toy, okay? We need to trade back. Cool, all right. If he's still got it now, he can thank me.
Yeah, that's funny. Right at the top of the show, we just talked about how they're doing a new version of Armada Optimus specifically. Like, it's getting a big Commander class figure. So, he'll have the chance to get another one, I guess.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that figure is going to be dope, too, man. I saw pictures of it. It looks pretty good. I like what I've seen of it so far.
Yeah. The big thing is the original, when you combined them, had, like, no articulation. And this new one, they're specifically showing off that it has, like, tons of joints. So, like, they're fixing, like, the big criticism about the original.
So, Anthony, did you already do your opening?
Oh, no. I was, I was waiting. I got the box over here.
When you put the light over, I thought that you were laughing about something, and I was trying to figure out what it was. When I first came in, you rolled your light.
Yeah, no, it's because we're asking TOYWARP questions. I was like, we're putting them under the interrogation lamp.
Oh, okay.
You know what? I would say maybe 15, 20 minutes, then we'll take a break from the questions, and then we'll do the reveals.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. So Steven on YouTube says the third season of Reboot was great, where Enzo is an adult and stuck jumping game from game.
Yeah, I talked about that on the show a few episodes back.
Mm-hmm.
The first two seasons of that show were like light kids entertainment, and then all of a sudden the third season just gets like really dark and like really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of a trip as a kid. It's like the show suddenly grew up because you got a little older too. All of a sudden, there's stakes now, and the bad guys aren't like Skeletor levels of ineffective. They're like actually, now that the He-Man equivalent is gone. I'm just using a Masters of the Universe metaphor here. Mm-hmm. The bad guys are going to be a serious threat, and suddenly things are like actually dangerous.
But what year was that?
Same. It was around the time of Beast Wars, so like mid to late 90s, 95, 96, 97 maybe. Okay.
Yeah, probably about around then. I remember watching. I remember watching the first couple seasons, but I think I didn't get a chance to watch that third season.
Yeah, because it was made by the same people that made the Beast Wars show, and it was aired at the same time too. They were just making them side by side.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Reboot came first. Yeah.
Go ahead.
RG Eagle says, wasn't Voltron had to be overdubbed and edited to remove the excessive violence as it didn't meet North American standards? Gory stuff? Yeah. A lot of anime were like that.
Man. Yeah, and a lot of gory stuff is an understatement. Wow.
Got to check that out.
And Steven Bach says, had my eyes on Energon Beachcomber and a European exclusive 8-pack of mini cons for $3,000 each. Is Energon Beachcomber really that rare? I know he was like a tail ender that didn't get a lot of release, but and does anybody have that? RG Eagle says the Voltron Legendary series was great, but it was so hard to get the remake of the 80s version of that toy by DreamWorks. Did anybody get it? Was one of those that?
That's a good question.
That was the one that I showed. That's the DreamWorks version, the big one.
Yeah. I heard they did a replica of the old 80s Voltron too. I think that's what I was alluding to.
I know they've repopped it a couple times without all the lead paint on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Matchbox's version that had all the lead paint. That's why they were all too happy to, when like mid-cartoon, they switched it from the Matchbox toy line to the Panache line, where you could actually fit the the pilots inside the Lions. It didn't look cartoon accurate, but since it had action figures, then all of a sudden everybody wanted it. But all the parents wanted it because the Matchbox version actually got taken off shelves.
Yeah. So it wouldn't slowly kill you, even if it was less show accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Or kill you by being bopped over the head with it, because
recall to bring those lead paint ones back. Of course, my parents were like, here, go play with this lead toy underneath the power lines.
Yeah,
we all spent money on college.
Here, what do you have for lunch? Paint chips? Why?
That's right.
Go play with this metal toy in the middle of that field while it's raining.
Right.
That's right.
As you play on your asbestos lake floor.
Yeah, the Matchbox. Yeah, if it didn't kill you with the lead paint, it would kill you if another friend like bopped you over the head with it, because the thing is like paperweight, dude. This thing, I bet you that thing probably weighs 5 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like 8 pounds or something like that. I have it. Is that the YK, the YB32, or is that the one that you're talking about? The lead paint Voltron.
Yeah, the Matchbox version is all I know.
Yeah,
I don't know much about that, and I do Transformers or Bigfoot or anything.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, one of the reasons I like I like doing this is I learned so much about all these other things that I wasn't really involved in. So
that's why I like watching the news at the beginning of the broadcast too, because I don't know anything about that new stuff.
Yeah, a lot of it winds up being new to me because I'm not really online much during the weekend. So if something happens on a Saturday and Sunday and it pops up, I'm like, oh, that happened.
That's why you got excited about all those Transformers going to clearance. You're like, oh!
Yeah. Yeah, and then they said it was in Quebec, and I'm like, I can't go all the way to Quebec.
Yeah.
I'm based in Ontario. That's far away.
So Steven said,
TOYWARP, are you United States based?
Yeah, I'm in Florida.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which part of Florida?
Sarasota. I'm about an hour south of Tampa.
Oh, Tampa, okay. We have a condo in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, other side of the state. Yep.
My sister lives in Lake City, just inside the Georgia border.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that. Yeah.
Cool. So let's get to some of the comments. Steven said Beachcomber didn't get a JP release despite being in the show, and it was one of the last waves, so hence his late tax being so obscene.
Yeah, I heard about that. It was one of those tail enders that barely got released. I just didn't think it would go for like $3,000 now because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Erzberger says, I wish I hadn't done that. Remember, I was like 9. I respect toys way more these days. I promise. See, when he was telling that story, I'm like, if this were a story, the plot twist would be that, the Hot Wheels car you traded it for was some, obscenely rare, valuable thing, and the other kid didn't know that, so it was like an equivalent exchange.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't work like that in real life, I'm sure.
I still give my mom crap because I had a neighbor kid that traded me. I had this old beat up Tonka truck. I know my Tonkas. I know it's not worth anything. Trade me a Star Wars X-wing. One of the ones where, he hit R2-D2's head and the X-wings did their thing. It's like, I know that's worth some money now. But my mom flipped out and, oh no, you can't be trading that. And she marched me right up there and maybe trade it back. I give her crap to this day about it.
Apparently the metal Tonka trucks were worth a lot of money.
They are up until about 1970. And even those are kind of starting to fall off of value now because it was really the boomer generation that was big into collecting those. And that whole generation, most of those collectors either have all their stuff or they've died off, or they've not been in good enough health to collect. So that generation of toys is starting to fall off value wise.
Because I had a whole bunch of them, and my mom sold them to a friend of hers when I was young, and he bought them for a whole, say, trunk load for $20, and laughed and ran out the door and said these are worth a lot of money. I was like, oh, great, Mom.
That sucks.
Yeah, I think there was about a year ago, a late 50s Tonka that was a tow truck that was still in its package, went for like 22 grand.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you've got a lot of exceptions to the rules when it comes to the 50s and 60s toys, but on the most part, the values are kind of fallen.
No, I had the tow truck, and I remember like that was actually a really cool toy. I think that must have been like late 70s when I had that one. But I mean, whatever you did with it, like it was indestructible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the one
Ram
thing I
it into a
love about
rocket.
Tonka is just they were tough. Like,
Mhm.
So,
Which is cool because back then we actually had sandboxes to play in.
mm-hmm.
I had a great big tractor tire filled with sand.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Was it like on its side or?
Yeah, laying down flat, and then they filled it with
yeah.
sand. So
okay.
there wasn't
That's
sand
clever.
in the grass, but it also made it to where it held water.
Yeah.
So you had to wait like 3 days after it rained before you could play in it. You get out there and it would be like being on the beach. You could build all kinds of sandcastles.
Well, that sounds like it comes from the play with the lead paint era.
That's right. That's
That
right.
was that era. For sure. Yeah.
Somebody posted a thing today and said the 90s must have sucked because you all had to stay inside and do nothing with no internet. And the first post after it said, "Bitch, there was a message that came across the TV at 10 o'clock. It says it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?"
Mm-hmm.
Because we were all still outside playing.
Yep.
That's a fact. Yeah, I tell my younger cousins that too. Like, there were video games and stuff back then too, but we would stay out until the lights came on and playing football and basketball and jumping creeks and just doing whatever kids do. Now these kids don't leave the house, man. They have some iPad or something in their face 24/7 and they're not experiencing life as a child, I think, as you should. But maybe I'm the old guy on my lawn, pointing my finger.
Get off my lawn.
Exactly.
I mean, I grew up in the 90s. I went outside plenty, I think. Though I was very much like I want to read books and watch things kind of kid instead, but like that was by choice. That wasn't because I couldn't.
No, I was a bit of both. One thing, and I guess I asked this of you guys in the States. Over here in Canada, or at least in Toronto, they've made it illegal for people to play street hockey on like side roads, and we all grew up playing street hockey. So I'm like, you make it illegal, you're basically telling the children stay inside and just don't go out and have fun and exercise. Yeah, car like that was growing
Game
up.
on. Cars, he turned into the driveway. Go on.
Man, so I don't know about the other guys, but us back in the day, we would play street football, and I grew up in D.C. and outside of Washington, D.C., and we have light poles. You have 3 poles, and like the middle pole will be like the first down, and there were cars on both sides of the street because we're in the city, and we will play all day, man, and just good times, man. It's not only just playing games with your friends, but you're learning social skills, and it's just a good time. I just don't see this nowadays. Like, I see grass growing on basketball courts, and I'm looking at these. It's amazing to me to see it. Just knowing how we were, as children, we were just the opposite, And again, we would play Metroid, Zelda, and Mario Brothers and all that too. But we also played a lot outside,
Well, our
we did
social
that stuff
media.
after the sun went down.
Exactly.
Our social media
winter
was
time.
actually going out and playing with our friends, but then the irony, what are we doing right now?
Times are changing.
It's dark outside, Span.
Yeah,
I'm scared.
that's true.
Dude, you got to think about where I live at. We get carried off by coyotes out here.
Yeah, that's true.
We're TOYWARPs out where they walk their dogs and they get eaten by alligators.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm in Delaware. It's kind of cold out here right now. I'm kind of on the so, yeah.
Oh, TOYWARP sound, your sound's cutting out.
Yeah, I couldn't hear a word he said. I can see his lips moving.
Got a pretty nice collection back there.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a lovely visual.
Give him
I
full
mentioned-
screen. Let's look at what he's got in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
What's his address?
that's
Oh,
right.
Wow.
So,
A lot
You know,
of
just
G1
because you guys can't hear me doesn't mean I can't hear you.
A lot of good, G1 goodness. I see it. I see it. I love it.
we're just pausing.
Where does he live?
I know where Sarasota's at.
Man.
This is my desk bot. He sits here on the desk with me.
Oh, lovely.
That's the best G1 bot, man, in my opinion. It just is.
Yeah.
Keep it out of sunlight.
Yep.
Yes.
No
I
sunlight
have a-
penetrates this room.
I have a conspiracy theory when it's coming to Jetfire right now, actually,
Uh-huh.
because when I am watching online auctions and whatnot and stuff coming up for sale, there are so many G1 Jetfires boxed right now for sale, and it's just kind of silly. And wasn't it just last year that Harmony Gold finally got the rights to Robotech? And just as soon as that happened, all of a sudden there's these boxed Jetfires up like everywhere.
Yeah.
I see a correlation there.
I'm just like, theoretically, it's supposed to be rare because it's never to be reissued. Because I know there's like such a rights kerfluffle. Even back in the '80s, they were like, you got to make them look different and call them Skyfire because the rights are already shaky and we just released it. So I'm like, that should be really rare.
It's just the opposite. I'm just seeing so many of them on all the auction sites and all the Facebook's auctions and everything. Been seeing a lot of box Jetfires. And the boxes are pristine. I mean, they look like they've been sitting in a box for 4
But
years.
you know what though? There's guys on eBay. I know a couple of them. That's what they do. They'll repro the boxes and they'll make them look just like the G1s. You know, they look pristine, but that should be a red flag right there, unless it's like a graded piece or something. There's never going to be a brand spanking new, you know, Jetfire G1 box. That's like impossible, I think.
Yeah.
You know. But people are people, and they'll try to pass that off to capitalize.
And if it's worth money, there's counterfeits out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. I knew that was going to come out because it came up in conversation.
That's sweet, man.
Yeah,
That is sweet,
that's,
sweet.
That's the real thing. This is
that
like,
sweet.
Yeah.
They still got the original Lanes discount sticker for $19.
That is sweet.
and that's how you know it's real because it still got that on there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Daddy want.
That might
I
be
know.
$1,000 right there. $800 maybe.
That's my pie in the sky thing for like a reissue. If they ever reissue like a G1 Jetfire, which not gonna happen, but if I could, that'd be the one.
I don't know with Harmony Gold having the rights to it now. I mean, whatever Japanese company it was that did the original cartoon. That's who they were constantly in battle with for 35 freaking years.
Yeah.
They finally, Harmony Gold finally ended up with 100% of the rights to it. So it's not out of the picture now. A G1 Jetfire reissue.
Yeah,
Are they
just
still
gotta-
doing anything with that mold now?
I got my fan on because I'm burning up.
That's why.
I don't know about with the mold.
Somebody say hello to Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
Good
She's
evening.
listening in tonight.
Hello.
She said it's kind of cold up here, and I've got my fan on because I'm about to sweat.
Yep, I got the fan on too.
It was hypnotizing us earlier.
Yeah.
So let's catch up on the comments, and then we'll get back to the questions. And let's see, right around there we go.
Yeah, we saw that.
Yep, got that one. There we go. So Steven says last season of Ronin Warrior was dark and awesome for like the third season of reboot.
Never heard of that. I don't know what that is.
Shiba Kobe says, "Sup, gang? Hey, Shiba."
Hey, there's a regular.
Hey, Shiva.
Hey.
And RJ Eagle says that Armada Unicron has more electronic and light up features than HasLab's. Embarrassed. Love the Armada one plus the dark version, and I have the dark version.
Yeah, a story about that. My cousin Nick, I saw some of his stuff at TFCon, and he had an Armada Unicron. And when I first went over to his house so we could open up the tubs and get everything sorted and together. And we pulled out Armada Unicron and built him and got him working. And I was like, I think his chest shoots a missile, so we got it set up and it did the thing where it pops open and it's just this loud, threatening, mechanical whine as the missile comes out and shoots. And then we just stopped and we both looked at each other and Nick was like, "Let's do that again." And then we just loaded it back up and yeah. He's still technically got it because nobody's wanted to purchase it yet for some reason, even though it's awesome.
Crazy. So as Steven says, speaking of gory and sexual anime, I saw Ninja Scroll and Wicked City in high school. I like the least violent, no sexual content anime as director, by the same director as Vampire Hunter D, Bloodlust. Sometimes less is more.
Yeah. That's the one with the guy in the big red hat and the sunglasses, and that's all I know about it.
He has a mouth in his hand.
Oh,
No.
so like animated series Morbius from the '90s Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. And Brad says he left me in Ohio for Florida, and I hate him for it. It sounds personal.
I had 83 degrees today. Nice breeze. Palm trees were swaying.
Wow.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I was shoveling snow. So.
Oh, whoa! This is a gentleman's podcast. There, good sir. We don't say four little words like that. Words like snow and work and jail and walk. Yeah, those four little words. We don't say those.
TF Collect on Facebook says I have the Playmates Legendary and Classic 84 Voltrons. Yeah. So both styles.
Mm-hmm.
Old man screams at clouds. Yes,
Wow.
I too saw that Simpsons episode. I grew up in a cul-de-sac. I was such an outside kid. Is that how you spell that? And he says, I'm 25 now and I can relate. I'd always go over to a buddy's to play video games or just spend hours outside messing around. Yeah.
Yeah, right around town until you find where all the bicycles are. That's where everybody was at.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the backyard of that house doing something.
Yeah, exactly.
Entrance to my neighborhood, there are some kids and one of their dads that play street football. While closer to me is some kids that play street basketball and a girl that street skateboards. Oh, that's good to know that still happens.
Mm-hmm.
I love the old school box art. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, I will say, I live right across from a bay that's frozen over right now because it's winter. And yeah, people play ice hockey on there all the time. They just go out on the ice of the bay. So it's good to see. In case you didn't realize that I was from Canada.
Us Canadians.
Yeah.
That much I knew. I was just remembering the one time that I tried to ice skate, and my girlfriend is actually really good at it because she's from the Northeast, but I'd never done it. Yeah, let's just be glad that wasn't film.
So Shiva Kobe says, Reboot is the cartoon that Mainframe made before they made Beast Wars. It was the first proper CGI cartoon Canadian made like Beast Wars / Beasties.
Yeah, Mainframe was a Canadian company. Yeah, I know Reboot started first, and sometimes they would share CGI assets, like it was a show reusing props, because that stuff's always expensive to make.
Now, how do we pronounce this one?
Physics.
Okay, saying who is the ugly in the lower right?
Oh God, I hope it's not in the right.
See, when you start saying that, then that's when I start playing around with stuff. Okay, good luck with that one. And then RJ Eagle says, thanks, it's Stephen Brox. I gotta hunt down those old Ronin Warriors episodes.
What is Ronin Warriors? I've never heard of that.
Are we talking anime now? Yes.
If you grew up in the 90s, of course you are.
And goes to eBay, 588 results for Transformers G1 Jetfire, while only 5 for Energon Beachcomber. 1 is not shown, 3 are half of his windshield. the fifth complete is 4,000.
Oh my god.
It's an interesting supply and demand there, because not a lot of people are going to be after Energon Beachcomber from the 2000s.
Mm-hmm. Shiva Kobe says, "Guy in a red hat with the mouth in his hands sounds like Helsing."
Maybe it's Helsing. Look, I'm not that big of an anime guy. Skyward just listen for moaning sounds to find his friends.
Heck, they used a recharacter model slightly of a reboot one-shot character for Rat Trap, at least from the waist up.
Oh yeah. Like they would kit bash characters like they were action figures to like stretch the budget, because you just making the big rule that the two writers of Beast Wars had was no new models, because that was the most expensive thing, like building and rigging a new character from scratch. So they would like kit bash things all the time if they needed like a new character.
Cool. And and Shiva Kobe says Rat Trap and Beast machines anyways.
Yeah, I'd believe that. I said before, there was a third mainframe series called Shadow Raiders. It was a science fiction thing. It was I really liked it back in the day. And there was just a part where like a rat walked by because they were like in a prison, and I was like, oh, that's literally Rat Trap's rat mode, like shrunk down and just used as a real rat.
Wow.
It was like really funny to see.
So let's jump back into some questions. I know we still have a bit more things to go over. So back to vintage. Let's see. Do you own any figures where you disliked the character but still needed the figure to complete a line?
Oh, you need to. You're muted.
I was going to say, can anybody hear him?
Oh, right.
It shows the little mute logo beside his name. There you go. All right.
It's doing it automatically. I haven't been able to figure it out. I'm not a tech guy, so. But yeah, that one character. I don't have any problem with the figure so much, but the character I can't stand Power Glide. I can't. Every time I hear his voice, not saying as ours, it just grates on me so hard. Yeah, that would be Power Glide for sure. No problem with the figure, but so annoying.
Okay.
The girl that loves
I knew it was
Power
going to be
Glide.
a
You're
mini
the guy
bot.
that hates Power
I knew
Glide.
it. I knew it.
Autobot scumbag.
All right, so the next question. What is your Holy Grail figure that has slipped your hands that you would love to get?
I think that was revealed earlier, but
Well, actually, when it comes to the Transformers, can't really think of one. I mean, I have a Holy Grail toy, but it's not a Transformer. It's not an action figure. So, yeah. I didn't know. None of the Transformers really.
Okay, we'll come back. We'll come back to that one. So now our number 8 question that we ask everyone: if your house was on fire, which we pray never happens, which figure would you save?
Well, I mean, I've got nice tile floors, so I'm pretty sure I can just slide the cases out the front door. Yeah,
That's
just,
exactly
just
what Bill
one,
said.
two. I don't care if the cases break as long as the Transformers get out. Yeah, but if I had to pick one figure actually to do that with, it'd be the Optimus Prime. He's actually signed by Peter Cullen, and
One of
it's an
those.
original. It's the original Diaclone with the small fist and the gray roller actually. So.
oh. Okay, so yeah, that's you just buy yourself a new house with that if you really needed to.
Yeah, it's funny because my original trailer to mine, I still had the gray roller. I had the original trailer to lost my original trailer, but then I traded a whole nother Optimus Prime for this guy he traded me Optimus, Jetfire, couple of the mini bots, a couple of like G.I. Joe like accessories, and just some other 80s stuff for a car stereo.
Wow.
In 2003.
Wow.
I bet that guy's kicking himself in the ass now.
Everybody's watching our stream specifically.
Yep. Okay.
I have to ask, what was the stereo?
Oh, I have no idea. That's just some generic box. I don't know. It was still. I got it somewhere, still in the box. I think it came in one of the cars I bought, and I just never got around to installing it. It wasn't nothing fancy.
Wow.
Just regular car stereo. He just wanted some music in his car, man.
Well,
Hulk.
All right. So now, what's your favorite bit of Transformer media, be it show, comic, or film, and why?
I'm gonna go with the David Cian books. Oh yeah, that's right. I keep looking over my shoulder like they're still in there, but I had to take them out because I ran out of space. David Cian back in, I think it was around 2011, 2010, wrote like a 3-part. Basically, it was kind of like fan fiction, but man, I mean, it was so character in depth and everything was really G1 correct. Yeah, the David Cian books, I would actually prefer reading more because I don't think he wrote anymore. I would actually prefer reading those more now than watching the old G1 cartoon.
What's the what are they called? I'm interested in what that is. That isn't.
Look up the author's name is David Cian, Cian. I don't remember the name. God, it's been a while because I haven't gone through and read the books now in like 10 years. But
Transformers Legends. Oh, the one with paddles in it. Okay.
yeah, he wrote. I know he's written some other stuff, but the G1 stuff that he wrote is just phenomenal. I mean, wow. I mean, I couldn't.
Oh, it's the Keepers trilogy. Okay.
Yes,
I know what this
is. The Keepers trilogy.
Yeah. He didn't write the first one. He wrote the second and third ones, and then he wrote Transformers Legends, the anthology book. Well, no, he didn't write it. He was like the editor. Oh yeah, I know those. I've never read those actually. They're set in the Dreamwave universe, the same universe as the Dreamwave comics, which are also very G1. Yeah, it's Hardwired, Fusion, and Annihilation, I believe.
Yes, I thought Annihilation was the name of one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've never actually read those. But I'd be interested.
If you're a G1 fan, I would recommend them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I gotta look into that too.
how you doing, Spen? I know you're about to get back into the questions.
Yeah.
I'm about to sign off here, but I appreciate seeing all you guys. Nice to meet you there, TOYWARP.
Yes, likewise. I've seen you in the stream. Thank you. I've seen you in the stream before. I've been wanting to hop on with you. So more next time.
Most definitely. You guys have a good one now.
All right. Thank
Peace
you.
out, Johnny.
Good night,
Bye,
man.
man. Take care.
Good guys there.
And then there was exactly 5 in a V shape.
So let's go with another classic question: boxed or unboxed?
Whoa. Nowadays, I started doing collecting. I started doing them all loose. It's because I couldn't afford them boxed. And as the years have progressed and everything, getting a little more financially stable, blah, 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 growing up, all that boring stuff. I've started to get more into the box stuff. And now the problem is I've got all these loose figures, but now I want everything boxed too. So it's kind of like having to go back through and pay all that money again with everything boxed. Yeah, it's real pain in the butt. I mean, it's just like starting over the collection. It really is, and it kind of puts a dent in the other stuff that I collect. So it's slow in the going. But yeah, I prefer boxed.
Okay, and I guess this leads to another question: have you had to move because of your collection?
Have I had to move because of my collection? I'd say that.
Or in a sense, did you have to move into a bigger space to accommodate your collection?
Oh no, I'm actually in a smaller space now than what I have been in the past, and it shows because I've got G1 stuff I just don't have the room to display. I won't display anything unless it's in a glass case like this. These glass cases are an absolute blessing if you're a collector because I dust these things once a year because that's all they need. Like I clean out the inside, and when I clean out the inside, I'll fix stuff like this, like this light hanging here. They're way overdue for a cleaning, but once a year, and it keeps the dust off everything. It keeps the dust from ruining everything. So I've got stuff that I can't display because I don't have cases to display them in.
Yeah, I remember in your one of your recent videos, I think it was the GoBots collection, you talked about rotating things in and out of the display cases and then putting them into storage.
Yep. Yep. Unfortunately, that's what I got to do. I got a very small house, so yeah, everything just kind of sits in a closet on the other side of the house, and I'll like with the GoBots case, I've gotten so much GoBot stuff now because I just picked up a Zod in the box because I like stuff in the box. But I just picked up a Zod in the box, and there's just no place in that thing to put him. So now I'll cycle him. I'll cycle out the GoBots now that collection has reached that size. I won't stop buying them, but I won't be. I just don't have the room to display them. And probably next I'll put the Stompers in there because the Stompers are a little bit easier to display.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So let's take a break from the questions for a bit, and I know we're gonna jump over to Anthony and Bill in terms of the reveals.
I had a box right here the entire time. Like, let me open the box. Let me see if I can get this lined up. I redacted all of the info, so nobody's getting doxxed. Wait. Let me. Yeah, don't zoom in on me yet. This is gonna be some shaky cam as I get this lined up.
Okay.
Here, well, we can do mine while he's getting set up because mine was just right in front of this one.
Right.
So my daughter is opening up a site online. She has not got her website set up yet because she's still doing licensing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little thing going through the United States right now. These things called shaker charms. They're going to be like the fidget spinners and stuff like that, and they're just these little things you can. I don't know if you can hear that rattle, but she's doing a line of these.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
That's
And
good looking.
The cassettes
that's cool.
are all in there. They're color coded for each one, and that's what makes the little shaky on.
Oh, that's
And
cool
it's
looking.
Oh, nice.
Huh.
I'm like, it's amazing how all you need to do to sell me on a concept is make it a Transformers.
Make it
thing. I'm like,
Transformers.
all right, yeah.
but she's going to do Soundwave, Blaster, and Sound Blaster. So there's going to be a red
nice.
one, a blue one, and a black one. And so
That's
this is the
very cool.
reveal of her Transformers shaker charms.
And when you say
Website's
shaker,
up.
are you talking about like the ones that had like the water in them?
Yeah, but they don't. These don't have water. They just make a little rattle.
Okay.
That's
And
very cool.
I said her pieces are the cassettes. That's what rattles in hers. Is
Cool.
all
From
of
over
Okay.
here, I thought I was hearing a mechanical keyboard for a little bit until I realized what it was.
And she's got all the cassettes are color coded to Soundwave's cassettes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I recognize the Laserbeak and Buzzsaw and Frenzy and Rumble and stuff.
Yeah, but which one's Rumble and which one's
Oh
Frenzy?
God, here we go.
It's like a Schrodinger's cat thing. They exist in a state of like we don't know.
Listen, the AI overlords are already not happy with us because of this. We've already established this, and I'm
I
very
really
afraid of
want-
Skynet.
I really want there to be a story where Rumble and Frenzy are revealed that they switch their color schemes on the regular just to mess with people.
Mhm.
That should be canon. And like everybody's too awkwarded out to ask.
Yep.
And Shiba Kobe says, "Oh yeah, AKA War Planets." It was like, what if Unicron but not Transformers? Yeah, Shadow Raiders was called War Planets in most markets. In Canada, they called it Shadow Raiders. Oh yeah, since we're speaking of reusing, I remember in season 3 of G2. G2 didn't have a season 3. You'd see Autobots standing around that died in the movie. Oh yeah, well, that was because they were doing ACOM animation.
Mhm.
Anyway, I'm gonna open this up because I've been waiting to see what's in
Yep.
here. With my scissors and stuff. I mean, I have an idea. I know 3 of the things that are in here. I just don't know most of it.
Steven says, a playlist for all 39 episodes of Ronin Warriors will pop up if you search Ronin Warriors Episode 1. I would have to figure out where the final season starts.
Steven, you haven't answered the question of, like, what is Ronin Warriors? I don't know the answer to this.
And Brad says, didn't you say you took those cases from your store after KB closed?
This one was actually a gift from then vice president, and then this one I had to track down to another store and buy.
The vice president of KB?
Yes.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I worked there for 6 years seasonally, and they were going to make me a manager the year they shut down. So
That's
that
unfortunate.
kind of was my my thank you for going through every single manager that the place had.
All right, so I'll look at what's in here. And I see a bunch of legacy stuff. Oh, okay. Okay. Wait, there's electronics here, too. Okay, what am I looking at?
Well, TF Collect says, Bill, that Soundwave charm looks awesome.
Thank
There's a
you.
lot of things.
Yeah,
to
she
take
took a
look
lot of pride in designing it.
So she's the one actually making them, right? Huh?
Well, I mean, she sent the design into a acrylics place,
at. Boy.
and
Okay.
they're actually going to. She's getting because she actually. It's not a patent, but it's a design of an artist's
Rendering.
ownership. I guess I don't know what it's called, but she has the design for these. Yeah,
There's a lot to take in.
Yeah,
You know,
it's some sort of a licensing.
I wouldn't be opposed to putting like a link up or something on like in the descriptions of my videos. I wouldn't be opposed to putting up a link, so it'll
I
help her out.
appreciate that. Unless once
and
she
move
gets
some of
set
them.
up, I'm going to talk to the guys here about if we can put, something pointing towards her on that.
Oh, yeah,
So
absolutely.
And I appreciate all the help.
if she wants to kind of patent it, if she sends the design to herself in a sealed envelope, as long as she never opens the envelope, by law, is considered patent.
A poor man's copyright.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. I'll let her know that.
Okay, so what do we got in here? So, first of all, Legacy Night Prowler, which I guess you got on one of your crazy clearance journeys. But yeah, I don't have this. This is one that I was kind of looking at. In the new Beast Wars comic, one of the Vok aliens talks to Cheetor and assumes his form, and it looks kind of like this. So I was kind of looking to add this to the shelf. So this is great. Okay, it looks like I have the biggest ring light known to man that I've ever seen before.
Looks like you're on a
larger than
boat.
Mine.
At Seaport.
Thank you for this. I'm like, maybe I'll plug this in a moment and blind myself.
Wait, that's a big one?
Yeah, the one
I
I'm
thought
using
you were
is...
being.
Wait, that's
I
a
thought
big
you were
one?
Yeah, I thought you were being facetious.
No. Jesus. Look, I'm not a tech guy. The ring light I'm using right now, a friend lent to me, and it's smaller than this one, so I was like, oh, this is a big one. No, this is like double the size of the one I'm currently using, like right on my computer there. So that's going to be useful. And, what do we have next? Kingdom Waspinator. Excellent. Everybody should have one of these. Then we got Kingdom Shadow Panther. This is one that I didn't have yet. I had it, I reviewed it, and then I sold it. So now I have a fresh one.
Anthony, so I'm kind of in the dark on what's going on here. Where'd you get these?
Oh, Bill
I
sent
sent
this
them to
box
him.
to me.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Now it makes more
Bill
sense.
Bill
Well,
sent me a big box of stuff.
the whole thing was I bought the 4-pack with Goldbug in it, but I'm not a Beast Wars guy.
Yeah.
And so I had these 3 Beast Wars, and I had target points and everything. I only gave like $22 for the 4-pack.
Which is right here.
Wow.
And I mentioned that, I'm going to have to find somebody that would like to have these other 3 Beast Wars. And Anthony was like, I would love to have them. And I was like, I will send them to you, plus some extra stuff.
Yeah. I skipped ahead and pulled this out of the bottom for emphasis. And they are...
Because I only wanted Goldbug out of that set.
Yeah. Which makes sense, right? Everybody did. I'm most interested in Ransack myself, out of these guys. You know what? I'll open this later. I don't want to mess it up. But this is all three of these guys except for Goldbug, Skywasp, Scorponok, and Ransack. And Bill has the Goldbug. Yeah. This is a little more complicated to open than I thought it was going to be. Okay, Earthrise Rung. This is an excellent figure. Everybody should have one of these. He's a little battle master you can give to other people. And if you like More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light, he's a character created for that. Oh, and now we got a pile of strange things here. Okay. First up, Beast Machine's Cheetor. And I saw his tail whip a second ago, so I know it's in here somewhere. Yeah, here it is. Oh, yeah. I don't have this guy anymore, but I used to have him back in the day. Whole thing looks like it's all here.
I wouldn't know. I actually got that in a lot, along with the other big one that's in there.
Yeah. No, it looks... Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, no, he looks complete to me. His only accessory was his tail, and he looks like he's in good shape at a glance.
And you had him as a kid?
Yeah, I had him as a kid.
Far out.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill, is that box with the special gift in it you were talking about that one time?
Yes.
I believe that was the ring light.
Oh, okay.
See, that whenever he shined his light over, as soon as I got on, I thought he had already opened it.
Oh,
And his light. Yeah. That's why I was like, did you already open that box?
Oh, okay. This is a Red Series Cheetor. I've never had a Red Series figure in my life, and now I have one. Oh, this is interesting. It's 'cause I found his accessories first, and I was like, what the heck are these? It's probably got a gun in here somewhere,
I found him on quarter day at the Gimme 5 store.
Yeah. Okay, so this will be interesting, because like I said, I've never managed to get a Red Series figure in the past, so now I get to look at this, and this guy's really interesting. He feels exactly like a Marvel Legend in hand. Oh, this is interesting. See, this is the kind of thing I like, because this is the type of thing that's like brand new to me. All right. Skipping ahead, it's the original Transmetal 2 Megatron, whom I also had as a kid. And
No, that's the one that I repaired the wing on.
Yeah.
If you look at the joint, you'll see where there's epoxy in.
Yeah, right there.
Now I separated it and re-drilled everything, so it should hold up.
Yeah, it looks like it. Looks real nice. Let me go get the Legacy one for comparison. It's right here on my desk.
oh yeah.
I'll need to straighten his neck out eventually. Yeah, so this is the new one, and this is the 95 original. They're basically the same size too, but this guy's got more gimmicks. Yeah, and you could get him to, say dialogue like he was a Muppet. I just remember doing that a lot as a kid. Oh, okay. I gotta mess around with this guy. What else we got here? Oh, we got some Robot Masters, I think. Yeah.
I didn't know what those things were, so I threw them in.
I think this might be a okay. I think this might be like a bootleg version, because not that that's a bad thing, because I have this, but his paint is a bit different. Like his deco is a bit different. I could get him off the top shelf over there, but yeah. So this is Robot Masters Sideways, but this is like a different version of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll mess around with this more later. Like, yeah, maybe it's a bootleg or something. And this is a Robot Masters Road Rocket. I used to have him back in the day. Yeah, these are repaints of the Generation 2 laser cycles that they did in like the 2000s. This will be interesting. I don't know who that is. I'll check in a second.
Shiba Kobe said, that's my idea. Rumble and Frenzy are twins. They swap colors to mess with people all the time.
Okay, here's Red Series Cheetor's gun. I saw this guy earlier. Oh, yeah, another blast effect, probably from Cheetor.
And
I'm never going to say no to more blast effects. They're so good for taking pictures.
And Brad saying to Bill, I pick up a shaker or two as well.
Okay, so this is Reveal the Shield Deluxe Jazz. Yeah, and I saw his weapon in here a minute ago. Yeah. Yeah, there's another guy I used to have, so I remember how he works. Here's his weapon. Came with a couple of speakers. There we go. Yeah, I'll have to work on transforming him later. I do not quite remember how he works at the moment.
RJ Eagle says, Dreamwave Transformers are my favorite in terms of comic, next to G1 Marvel. Favorite animations are car robots, robots in disguise, Transformers, and certain G1 episodes like Call of the Primitives being my favorite.
Jess isn't here, but I think she'll appreciate this one because it's a Transmetal Rat Trap, and Rat Trap's her favorite character. He has definitely seen better days, and this is the problem with every Transmetal, which is that their chrome always flakes off.
Mm.
But his rat mode seems to work just fine, so I think she will appreciate having this guy. Yeah, let's fit his nose together there. Yeah, there he is. And now, what is this? Is this Scoop? Is this G1 Scoop?
I have no idea who it is. Like I said, these are things that I didn't know, and they came in a lot of stuff that I was getting.
That is G1 Scoop.
Yeah, I've never seen one physically before. Now this is interesting. I don't even know how he transforms. Probably not too complicated.
I had the dump truck, but I don't remember his name.
Quake? No. Landfill? Maybe?
Yes, I believe it was Landfill.
Ah, look at that. There we go. I think that's right. I mean, he's got his arms and a head, and what do I do with this scoop up front? Yeah, he's got his face there, and he's got his arms. I must be able to... Oh, maybe I just put this over his back. Yeah, there we go. That's a G1 robot for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just a little dump truck man. Oh, this is interesting. This is one of those, like... this is one of those little old G1 guys that you're never going to see re-released. You just got to find the vintage ones. And he's just a little dump truck guy. Yeah, this guy feels good in my hands, honestly, because he has that mid-era G1 durability.
Mm-hmm.
And his joints are all nice and stiff ratchets. Oh yeah, this is neat. Okay, so let me take stock of everything we got here. We got G1 Scoop. We got Beast Wars Transmetal 2 Megatron, who has been restored. We got Robot Masters, Road Rocket and Sideways, who are probably bootlegs, but hey man, ain't nothing wrong with that. We got Red Series Cheetor, very interesting, and all of his parts are down here. We got vintage Beast Wars Transmetal Rat Trap. We got Reveal the Shield Deluxe Jazz. I'll remember how he works in a minute. We got a very, very minty looking Beast Machines Cheetor. Like this guy looks like he's like everything's in place. I don't think he's quite transformed right, but I'll need to check out some pictures. But his chrome looks real good too. And then we got Legacy Kingdom Shadow Panther, Kingdom Waspinator, Legacy Night Prowler, Earthrise Rung. Oh boy, this is like Christmas.
Yeah, it's quite a haul.
Yeah.
Most of Creatures Collide except for Goldbug. I'll open those next. And what is for me a big ass ring light compared to the one I'm currently using. Yeah. So thank you very much for this, Bill. This is way more stuff than I was expecting. And this is going to keep me occupied for a while. Like I gotta catalog these, and I can do write-ups and photos. I'm gonna plug this ring light in right now, see how that goes.
So let's see. Catching up on the comments. RG Eagle says I gotta open up more of my figures because mint in box takes up way too much space. I have 70% boxed and the rest open. And Steven says I got 2 rungs. I use them on Tonfa for my ER grapple and guns booster for my TR Alpha Trion.
Oh, this has like a stand. The one I have like plugs into the top of my laptop.
But you get to see the difference in the lighting already.
Yeah. I need to put some thought into how I like work. I'm gonna turn this off for now because I need to reinvent my entire setup to make use of this.
So Shiva Kobe says rung is perfect for HM Murdoch, the play mobile figure. Howling Mad Murdoch, interesting. Psychiatrist, or is that Lieutenant Reginald Barkley's shrink?
Yeah, they were the same guy. But yeah, I didn't mention that. One of the interesting character beats with Rung is he is a psychologist. And like the other, when you have characters who have been fighting a war for millions of years, you know, they need one. So that was his role in Lost Light, and it was kind of interesting.
Well, Steven says I had the same Beast Machines Cheetor and Deluxe Beast Machines Optimus Primal.
Yeah.
Kobe says I have several red, including G1, Megatron G1, Reformatting G1, Optimus Prime G1, TF Prime RC, G1 Bumblebee, and Coronation Starscream.
Yeah, I never quite got around to getting any of these guys. That's why this is like really interesting to me, because I've never messed with a Red Series guy. Like I have some Marvel Legends, so you know I am familiar with like modern Hasbro 6-inchers.
And Brad says he's looking like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, no, straight up. Like, look at all
Yeah, I
this
think he was
stuff.
most excited about that Cheetor, which I don't blame him if he had one as a kid. I don't blame him.
Yeah, it's a Marvel Legends Spider-Man, just for comparison. Exact same scale, same kind of manufacturing process. Yeah. This in particular is like a hit of nostalgia. This and this.
So Steven says I bought Kingdom Shadow Panther to paint a half white spade on his face, a small white peppered spot on cat chest, and bigger white spot around the cat crouch to make him look like my cat Shinta.
Mm-hmm. Now what do we got here?
That should be their accessories in that paper.
Yeah, it's like unwrapping like fish and chips.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's everything. Yeah, now the interesting thing about this set is you don't see them do this often in Transformers. They did like a Marvel Legends type thing, and everybody has like a second head. I just pulled out all 3 of them. Let me see if I can get them up here. Like everybody has an alternate head sculpt, and you can just pop them off the ball joint and pop the new heads in. And so that was sort of an interesting twist. Yeah, there's Ransack's blades. I guess this is Ransack's gun, and then this would be Waspinator's gun. I wonder if Scorponok's missiles are probably in there, because like I'm familiar with the other decos of these 2 guys, right? So I know these figures. Ransack, I never owned Kickback, so he's like completely new to me. So he's like maybe the most interesting out of these 3. Yeah. What did I do with my scissors? Hey, feel free to keep asking questions and stuff. I'm gonna just be popping these open while we go.
Cool.
I would be too.
Steven says Scoop had a nice thrilling 30 figure.
Yeah. That's how I know about him, because he got a role in the comics at the time because they were looking to promote that figure. So he got to be in the Dark Cybertron event. So that's how I immediately like recognized who he was, because he was in the IDW comics there around like 2014 or so.
Cool.
Was it Shiva? I think it was Shiva that said something made a original Barkley reference. Was that a
Yeah.
Star Trek Next Generation reference?
Yes.
Yeah. He was the guy that played him was on the A Team as somebody.
Murdoch.
Yeah, Murdoch.
No.
I have misplaced my scissors.
Well, you
I did not know that.
Oh, is your mind getting blown in real time?
It is actually.
well, do you remember Amy Allen from the 18?
No.
It's in the first season, possibly the second season, but I believe in the first season, there's a reporter that hires the A team, and her job was kind of to keep them a secret, but she would tell stories. She would report all the good stories that they would do to the media.
Okay.
She was also in an episode of The Next Generation, but you wouldn't be able to tell it was her because she was like wearing all sorts of like makeup,
Prosthetics.
yeah, and prosthetics. But Barkley, just looked like himself.
Yeah, same guy.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah, I never.
Hey, chat, did you see where I put my scissors? Rewind the footage. Anyway. Who did she play on Next Gen? Because I know that show like the back of my hand.
I don't remember the character name because it's only after I even realized it was her. So it's one of the later series or seasons.
Yeah, if you knew the episode, I'd immediately be like, "Oh yeah, that person."
When Professor D says, "Bill, we're relieved you did not include a surprise Nexus Maximus in the box."
Yeah. I was like, how quickly would we be banned from everything we're on if that happened?
Oh boy.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, buddy. Check out the shirt I'm wearing too, because it says it on there. A friend of mine made this. Don't pay too much attention to Optimus Prime's gun there. Okay, so BotCon. They did a combiner one year. They did a combiner over several years. They released one member a year for like 5 years. And it was a mystery like what the combiner was going to be called. And so they finally unveil it one year and they say, the name of the combiner we've been slowly building, who is one of the primes, is called Nexus Maximus. And then, this doesn't happen now because it's been so many years, but people plug that name into Google. And the first results for Nexus Maximus were that it was the name of a much different kind of toy for an older audience that already existed.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Apparently, the BotCon people were like, we did not plug the name into Google. This is on us. So this combiner was... it had that name. They really quickly changed it. Before it showed up in any fiction, before the toy came out, they changed the name to Nexus Prime, like, super quick. But that always haunted them. So, yeah, Nexus Maximus, which is not its name anymore, that is that's a thing that happened. And I told that story to Jess and one of her friends, and then they made me this shirt because they thought it was really funny. Yeah. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to find another pair of scissors.
He's getting into those toys tonight.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so we'll jump back into the comments in a few minutes. So with your question, Vintage, of asking what other toys or figures do you collect besides Transformers, asking that in different places of social media, and got a few different responses. A lot of people mentioned that they collect Masters of the Universe and some G.I. Joes. And let's go to another one. There we go. Another one mentioned, actually, a number of people mentioned they collect Gundams, and I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Evangelion.
Sorry?
Evangelion?
Yes. Yeah. So a handful of people have mentioned that they collect those.
Does anybody here know what they are?
Yeah.
Evangelions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have like 6 of the models. They're down in my bedroom.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
another
Neon
Japanese.
Genesis Evangelion.
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't explain what they are, though.
Yeah, they're a giant
It's
robot
an anime
thing.
about some teenage kid. Well, it's a government plot, and they create these great big mechas that can only be piloted by the mind of a child. And so you've got these 10 through 13-year-old kids that have to pilot these mechs. But you later find out that the mechs are actually clones of angels, and that's why the angels are actually attacking. It's pretty deep. It gets real deep, but the mechs are wicked.
Yeah. They did some new movies the last few years, but yeah. If you saw the main one, you'd probably recognize it. It's this purple guy with a horn. Yeah, it's a popular one.
There was an Optimus Prime that was done as in the color scheme of Unit 1.
Yeah,
The old purple one.
Yeah, he's a dark purple. Was he called Year of the Horse or something like that?
No, it was
Evangelion
Optimus
Year of the
Prime
Horse.
Mode Ava.
Maybe that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah, he's
pop
real
up the
dark
screenshot right now
purple
because my
with
computer's
orange
down
trim.
there.
Yeah, he's a different shade of purple than the Shattered Glass Optimus.
Yeah. But
So
yeah, I've watched that show before, so.
So the first comment of someone answering Vintage's question, the first answer of the Masters of the Universe and G.I. Joe was from Broly from the Transformers Loot Facebook group. TF Collect in, let's see, on our Facebook page had mentioned that his list of things that he collects, number 1 being Transformers, number 2 Power Rangers, number 3 the DC DCEU, number 4 Marvel MCU, 5 Thundercats, 6 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 7 Voltron, and then various other animes and pop culture and then movie figures.
Yeah. See, it's interesting because I'm like, not to hijack the question, but I'm like, there's a lot of things where I'm like, I don't necessarily collect them, but I'll get 1 or 2 of from that. Like, I have a couple Marvel Legends Spider-Man, but those are the only Marvel Legends I have. I have a couple of the new Star Wars Action Fleet vehicles, but, those are the only ones I have. Like, I don't do the Masters of the Universe stuff, but I kind of want to get the 2 figures from the live-action movie. Stuff like that. So, like, outside of Transformers, I dabble.
And then George from a Transformers Toys Facebook group replied saying there's other toys with question marks.
Right?
Yeah, I'm like, Transformers the only one where I got shelves and shelves of it. I have 1 shelf over here that's everything else, basically. Though I will say, I have a lot of Nintendo figures. I guess that became a thing. I really like the Metroid games, so I got a bunch of different Samuses. I got a shelf with a bunch of Legend of Zelda guys. Like, no specific line. I just get them and throw them on a shelf together.
And then Chris Bryan from the G1 Global Marketplace says that he collects micro machines.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a few of those.
Yeah, give me the screen, Spin.
And there we go.
The original Micro Machines. Wow, that's pretty nice.
Nice.
That's the Masterpiece Millennium Falcon, 8,500 pieces. And behind it, let me loosen up this base on this. I unplugged it.
Yeah. I was going to say, like,
well, shit.
Man, when
Can y'all still hear me, or did I disconnect everything?
No, you're here. We can hear you.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
There you go.
There you
Okay,
go.
well, it goes. I guess that's the Enterprise on the other side of it.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
when
I'm moving the camera too fast.
Yeah, I had a pile of, because they did Star Wars Micro Machines and they did Star Trek Micro Machines, so I had a bin that was just full of both of them. and I wish I still had those. You know, they were all like this big, and they came in 3-packs, and they had those clear little stands. That was my jam. I really wish I knew where those were, or like that they were around or didn't get thrown out. I would love to have those again, because I just mixed them both together.
On the TOYWARP channel, I've got a video dedicated to just the Micro Machine collection. It's expansive.
Oh, yeah.
The only Micro Machines I got into, me and my cousin both got those little Star Wars. The little Star Wars micro. I don't know if they were Micro Machines. I just remember they were tiny. It was like the whole base was like this big. You know, and the X-Wing fighters were like this big.
Wow.
Yeah, sounds like the Micro Machines, yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't know if they were Micro Machine brand or if this was the competition for Micro Machines.
I'm pretty sure Micro Machines
gentlemen,
had the licensing for it.
Yeah, it is 9 o'clock, so 4 a.m. comes around quick.
Oof, yeah, man.
Hey,
Anthony, I
shout out
hope
to
you enjoy the box.
Oh, I already am. Hey, shout out to this Waspinator with his red wings and his purple and gold. This actually looks really nice in person. Like, that's a good set of colors. But yeah, everything in here looks wonderful, and I'm just going to slowly dig into it.
Cool. Actually, I think, let me just double check. I think there may have been one question for you. If not, nope, I think that is it. Before, I just want to make sure, before you head out, that we didn't miss anyone.
Alrighty. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see you all
As
next
it
week.
always is. Yep. See you next week, man.
All right, take care.
This is a good looking guy here. The new version of Ransack with his 2 swords. I really like that head on him. It's got like really has that like old vintage mecha look to him. Yeah, this guy's good. And the Scorponok here, he's I don't think it'll show up on camera, but like the purple on him is actually clear, so you can see through it. Yeah. So I don't know. Look, I'm just gonna keep like.
He's just gonna keep playing with that lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got a bunch of toys. This is what I'm gonna be doing. Let's keep talking, but I'm gonna keep doing this while we talk. And also, my cat's here helping.
Somebody mentioned Masters of the Universe. I was never a huge fan of it. However, I did manage to pick up this Hot Wheels Snake Mountain Challenge that is Masters of the Universe themed. I know there was some intermingling of Hot Wheels and He-Man back in the day, but I managed to pick this up for a steal. I managed to pick this up plus 2 90s Hot Wheels sets for like $25.
Nice.
It's got some wear on it, but it exists, so that's a plus.
Okay, Professor D's saying, Toy Warp, name some toy trucks worth as much as some real trucks. Do you own any?
Well, I mentioned the Tonka earlier that went for like 22 grand. Oh man, trying to think here. You probably see the smoke billowing past the headset. There are some of the RC Bigfoot stuff that is like quarter scale, and I honestly think more work goes into them than goes into like just somebody's weekend play toy truck. I mean, the amount of detail and the amount of functionality in these things is just utterly ridiculous. I mean, these guys are spending like $1,000 on the shocks on them.
Wow.
I mean, it's just, oh man, they're just so ridiculous. I don't understand it other than it's something to spend a lot of money on. But yeah, some toy trucks that would be worth as much as real trucks.
Oh, I see. You know why my cat's here? It's because there's so many Cheetos on this table that she's like, no, I am the most important cat, not this one.
As it is, the comment section has been going pretty quick, but there is actually a question related to the cat. There we go. Nashiba Kobe says, "Man, I think your cat's trying to start an OnlyFans."
It's only paws if it's a cat. I'm not. Otherwise, I'm not going to comment on that. Except, how dare you make such slanderous comments against my furry daughter here?
Yeah.
Eagle says, "I like the Shadow Panther third-party figure a lot because it doesn't have that weird head, and it's a black repaint of Cheetor with the Cheetor head." They made a third-party one. You talking about the Masterpiece, maybe? And Shiba Kobe says, "I want to get Red Galvatron, Red Knockout, and Red Thundercracker. And Skywarp, I think, is inevitable." Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I'll see what I think about this one here, and then based on that, decide if I want to get more. You know?
Mm-hmm. And Brad says, I always love cross-promotional toys, especially Pepsi Optimus.
Yeah. Oh, that's why. I'm just trying to figure out what's up with this guy. His torso's upside down.
And Professor D says, question for the panel. If you could have only one, which would you pick? Full G1 season 1 cast as either MP or vintage figures?
MP.
I think I'd have more fun with the vintage one, honestly, because a lot of masterpieces, I'm one of those guys that finds them a little bit too complicated to have fun with. You know, I've had some, I've sold some. When I pulled out Scoop here, I was like, I can transform this guy in just a minute. You know, as much as I like articulation and stuff, I'm like, guys like this, they got a charm to them. You know, I can just flip them back and forth real quick.
Yeah, when you were playing with them as a kid, you know, you wanted to make the sound as they transformed, and sometimes you'd be sitting there making that sound for like 10 freaking minutes because it takes so long to transform them. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I would go with vintage as well.
Yeah, I might not have said that a few years ago, but these days I'm like, yeah, I think I'd like a big vintage set more.
And Stephen Brock says, at Children of Primus and at Fear of Courage, I tagged you on post to have 2 rungs on top from boosters, so you can check those out or share if you like. So thank you. And it's on IG.
Yeah, he's tagged me in some stuff before. Just trying to figure out how this Cheetor is supposed to be. But I checked at a photo. I think some stuff on him is upside down.
So Shiba Kobe says, yes, Amy Allen was just played by Melinda, and she played Janai in Star Trek The Next Generation. But she sure sounded like herself under all that makeup.
Who was that? Let me look that up.
Femke Jensen was also on Next Generation as a mutant, which is ironic because she ended up playing, a mutant in X-Men, being Jean Grey.
Oh, yes, that is true. And Professor D says the TOYWARP, when we die off, will G1 collections eventually depreciate, as you mentioned Tonka trucks have? Or will our stuff just to continue to appreciate because Transformers are better?
I think people will lose interest.
Yeah, but Transformers are definitely better. He's definitely got that part right. Yes, I think it will depreciate. As we grow older and grow further away from our childhoods. Regular people, not so much the nerds like us, but the regular people will, care less and less about that. I say that, and one of my best friends, part of my racing team on Xbox. She says that she is actually saving a lot of her original toys to share with her grandkids, and is slowly collecting, not as a collector, but to have something to pass on to her grandkids.
Cool. And then, I could see that in, say, like with Elvis fans, where that's kind of like 1 or 2 generations before us, where we're not as interested in Elvis, although I like older music, but it's not the same impact because we didn't grow up in that era. So eventually it just kind of fades off.
Well, even the vintage video games, I was listening to somebody and they said that like for a while there, like their collection of the games had skyrocketed, and now people are losing interest in it and moving on. And a lot of the games you can just download, or like I found an Atari website, you can play all the Atari games and all those old games on site. So it's like
Yeah, the emulators now have made it possible to play just about any old game that you'd want to play, especially the popular, the not so popular ones, not so much. On the original NES, they had a Matchbox game called Matchbox Motor City. I haven't seen it on any emulator, and even then, I want to hold that game in my hand and put it in my old NES. I don't want to play it on an emulator. So personally, I'm still in the market. That's another thing I collect is the old Nintendo games, but mainly just the ones I played as a kid. And then those are just racing games. So when Fear and Courage mentioned Metroid earlier and named a character out of Metroid, I'm like, I don't know who that is. I never played. Well, I played Metroid, but I was never any good at it, so I just stuck to my racing games.
Samus, that's the person you're playing as in the spacesuit.
Okay, all right.
I didn't remember that either. I remember playing it a couple of times, but yeah, I couldn't tell you the characters.
It's Samus. The main character.
I love how he's saying it too. Like, Jesus Christ, you guys don't know this? It's Samus, you bunch of morons. What's wrong with you?
Does it transform?
Unfortunately, the transformation into a morph ball is impossible to do on an actual action figure. So these don't actually do that. They come with accessories, but they can't actually roll into the ball.
Take a flamethrower to them, and they'll eventually be a ball.
Hey, these ones are expensive. These are like Figmas from Japan. I'm not taking a flamethrower to these guys.
Well, then you're never going to see them in ball form. You got no balls. Those did look actually really cool, though.
Cool. Yeah. I was going to say, outside of Transformers, this one here, the Metroid Prime 3 one, this is probably what I would save out of the burning house that isn't a Transformer. This is just like one of the nicest action figures I own, just like in general.
Yeah, it does look really cool.
Yeah, I'm really proud of it.
So Shiba Kobe mentioned that Amy Allen's name on Next Generation, her name was Soren on the episode called Outcast.
Yeah, I know the exact one now. I looked it up really quickly. She was like in exile, and it's a whole thing.
And here we go with it. The comments are having their own conversation where Shiva Kobe, Professor D is asking Shiva Kobe, what does the name mean? Which she then replies, Kobe is my avatar. And Professor D says, cute. And Shiba Kobe says it's a combination of two characters, Shiba, my OC, and Kobe, a fish that I draw and also own as a stuffed toy. And Brad says, I've started collecting Ninja Turtles. That's my big thing right now. I'm all about the turtles.
Oh, that's a good one.
Expensive stuff. Stuff.
Yeah. So, I'll show you one of the definition of an awkward action feature here, which is Beast Machine's Cheetor had a sort of sword fighting action with his whip, where you press this button on his arm and he waves it back and forth, and people immediately point out that it can be a little bit unfortunate the way his hand is posed. And that's all I'll say because I don't want to get banned off YouTube.
Yeah. So Professor he says, Brad, everyone has had a turtle phase. And...
Oh yeah. My fiance Jess is like big into turtles. She got NECA ones on the shelf over there, of the movie guys from the 90s one.
That was really cool. A bunch of my Xbox buddies hadn't seen the original 90s movie, so we actually sat down with like four of us and had a watch party last week.
Yeah, that's one where I'm like, I'm not a big Turtles guy, but that's one where I'm like, that movie actually, like, all nostalgia aside, actually does hold up, that first one.
The first one, yes.
The first one.
Yeah. The second and third, you just you pretend it never happened.
Yeah. Just like shockingly good Jim Henson stuff and like a story about like found family. I'm like, oh, they went off when they made this one,
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, they made it on like a $25 million budget, and it was, what, a $200 million movie back in 1990?
Yeah, I didn't know the actual budget. I just remember they were like, we spent all our money on these costumes. We have no money for anything else.
Well, that's why it was so poorly lit, was because they actually couldn't afford the proper lighting for the movie. And we're all like, oh, yeah, we like it because it's the dark, gritty turtles. You know? No, we just couldn't afford lighting.
Making lemonade out of lemons. They're like, now we have, like, atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, don't worry.
Does a cat transform?
No, well,
Roll out.
yeah, she can transform into a ball when she's sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Investigate this Megatron here.
Well,
The
actually,
black lines still work.
I have to step away for just like 5 minutes, so I will let you guys continue talking, and then we'll jump back into some more of the answers to Vintage's question.
Oh, now I have to keep things going when I'm busy over here. Like,
Yes.
Oh, no, keep playing with your toys. I mean, I can talk for hours. That's not a problem.
yeah.
It's actually a huge. I mean, it's actually really fun watching you go through that whole lot like that. I mean, like Brad said, you know, Kid on Christmas. You're really getting into that, which is really cool.
Yeah, this one I didn't get this for Christmas. I got the money to get it, and I ordered it out of the Sears catalog because you could still do that back then.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is how much of a specific knowledge I have about this time period. This thing that controls his neck here, it's upside down because they all came installed upside down. So I got to get a screwdriver, take it out, flip it over, and then his neck will like work properly because it's like supposed to be like bendable, and then it'll be able to like go forwards and stuff. Yeah, this was a big one for me when I was a kid. It's the like final boss of the Beast Wars show. Megatron gets this form at the end, and he's the most powerful thing, and they got to take him down. And it's the last few episodes of the show.
Now, you being in Canada, you didn't know it as Beast Wars, though, right? Wasn't it Beast Machines up there?
Beast Machines was the sequel. Beast Wars was called Beasties when it aired on Canadian networks.
Gotcha.
But see, even as a kid, like the toys were still called Beast Wars, and we still got like Buffalo stations and things in Canada. So there were TV channels that were still airing it as Beast Wars. So like Beasties was like the weird exception when it was on YTV, which was like the Canadian channel. Then it was Beasties. So it was just like sometimes it's that, most of the time it's Beast Wars.
Now, was there any difference in the episodes at all, or was it just in title alone?
Surprisingly, no. Like they were the same, and it's funny because Fox Kids, like it hopped networks. Beast Machines was aired on Fox Kids, and then they started rerunning Beast Wars, and they had to censor it for the American networks. Canada, they let all the explosions and violence and stuff in, but the American network, like they didn't want there to be like realistic guns, and Beast Wars got kind of violent because they were robots. People would lose limbs and stuff. And they got like censored. So like in Canada, you can't say war in the title of your show, but you can be as violent as you want. In America, you can say war in the title, but the violence has to be censored. So the localization was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's weird that you say that. I was just having a conversation with someone the other day about the transfer from how hard rocking and all the hard action there was in the 80s cartoons compared to the 90s.
Yeah.
And I explained it to somebody that, it was really all about the violence. It was about all these hippie boomers that didn't want violence on TV, didn't want the kids to see the violence. But at the same time, there's 10 minutes of Looney Tunes had the same amount of violence in it that a G.I. Joe episode had, 22 minute, but nobody saw that because it wasn't in the context of war. And, I explained to him that the reason why those action cartoons went away in the first place was because sitcoms became such a big deal for adults that it started filtering down, and basically makers of cartoons realized all they had to do was make a sitcom for kids. They could minus all the violence, and those kind of cartoons are kind of prevalent to this day.
Yeah. And you know, my mind immediately goes to like the Nickelodeon and Disney Channel like live action sitcoms that just starred younger kids.
I mean, we still had some of that in the '80s. We had You Can't Do That on Television,
Yeah.
Kids Incorporated. Yeah, we still had some of that in the '80s, but I was thinking more like the sitcom style cartoons, kind of like Ed, and Eddie.
Oh yeah.
Johnny Bravo. I mean, you know, it's entertainment. Don't get me wrong; it's entertaining in its own right, but it's not an action cartoon. They were talking about, you know, the action cartoons really falling off in the '90s, and I mean, if it wasn't for Dragon Ball Z, Gargoyles, and Batman the Animated Series, we wouldn't have had any action in the '90s. It was all sitcom stuff.
Yeah, well, you know, in the present day, I acknowledge Batman was probably the better show. I was a Spider-Man kid. You know, they ran its show at the same time.
Yeah, I never even knew Spider-Man was a cartoon in the '90s. I never caught it.
Oh, it had the best opening credits known that I'd ever seen because they just had like electric guitars wailing and explosions every 5 seconds. I think one of the guys from Aerosmith was the guitarist. Yeah. Yeah, I kept holding this guy up because this Marvel Legends, like the '90s cartoon one specifically.
I don't know if you could top the X-Men opening though.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that is.
Does it? I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna have to look it up. That's wow.
They did
one of the best openings ever.
Yeah, they did a crossover episode actually when I was a kid. The '90s X-Men show and the '90s Spider-Man show. It was like a two-parter. That was like a big deal back then. Yeah. Oh, this guy's gonna stay as a rat because he's missing his robot mode legs.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's fine though. He'll make for a good-looking robot rat on his own.
Charlie, I seen you reaching in your case. What were you grabbing?
Oh, I was just putting things back. I recently got this, and I'm trying to find a place for it. I gotta get rid of some stuff and redo my cabinets.
I'm just.
So you say you got this? I can't hardly see what it is.
This is MCC's like masterpiece. Basically, one of their protector bots.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is that the first aid you were showing us the other week?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Streetwise.
Streetwise now.
Yeah.
So you got first aid and streetwise.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
I kind of jumped on them because I noticed that a couple of the stores were selling out quickly, and I was like, I better get this thing before it's gone. And that's the problem with getting the combiners is like you got to get all of them before they're gone. You can't just like, I'll just get this one, don't have to worry about collecting the rest of them or whatever. But hate to have half a combiner.
Yeah, that is counterproductive.
Yeah,
that's how they get you.
Yep. I tried to stay away from combiners, but I started going down that rabbit hole.
Luckily, I've got all mine. I've got all the combiners I'm ever going to buy.
I'm never going to have the space and money for this, but that company's crazy neon Generation 2 Bruticus, I saw it at TFCon. I drooled over it. That is the one I would get if I could get one of those. You know, with the crazy camo patterns. Because, like, I'm a Beast Wars guy, but, like, I started during Generation 2. That's where I actually came into Transformers. So, like, that neon Bruticus, like, that's straight up, that's the nostalgia for me.
Well, and the G2 Megatron, like, because it was green and purple.
Yeah. I got here's a little core class version of him that they just did recently. You ever want to sell me a Transformer, paint it Generation 2 and I'll immediately be interested. Because
anytime I pick those up in a lot or anything, they go right to eBay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, well,
I used to
for somebody like me.
G2 stuff, but anymore I'm like, yeah, they're kind of different. It's just something off the wall.
Yeah, it was the style at the time. Bright colors like that were in, and they wanted to capitalize on the trend, so everybody looked like that for a little while. Me, I love it specifically because it's so weird and eye-searing, but I'm one of those people that just kind of likes it when they just do strange things.
Eye-searing.
Yeah. Eye-searing, neon, garish. You notice how this is a camo pattern, even though this will never camouflage you from anything?
Yeah.
I mean, it might appear in a synthwave video, but that'd be about it.
Yeah. He was just a little bit late with getting with the times. Yeah.
You know, that whole aesthetic is really coming. That whole like neon aesthetic is really coming back hard.
Oh, that's one of my favorite aesthetics. If I'm glad that that's a thing. And like I listen to a lot of retro wave music specifically, just because.
Oh my god, me too.
Yeah.
All right, Gunship or Midnight?
Both actually. Right now, the Midnight's my favorite.
Okay. They hooked me because I was in some random playlist one night and I was playing GTA 5 races and I kept hearing my name in a song. And what's going on? That can't be hearing that. And I had to hear the song probably 4 or 5 times before I finally, was in between races and I could, go to the Spotify thing and look and it said Midnight Jason. I'm like,
oh yeah,
I mean Jason, cool. And then I really listened to the song. It's about a man whore named Jason. I'm like, oh, this is a little close to home. I like these guys.
Yeah. The song of theirs that really hooked me was Vampires. Pretty much that whole album is really great.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, hey, anybody in the chat here, look up Endless Summer by the Midnight. That's there's a lot of good albums. That's the one that hooked me. That's the one with Jason on it, so that's the one that hooked you.
Yeah.
It's a good album. Yeah.
I've been actually I wanted to take their song Days of Thunder and make it into like a fan-made video with clips from the movie Days of Thunder.
Yeah,
I've been meaning to do that for a while over on the Cruisers channel.
Yeah, such like a good, obvious thing to do in a good way. Yeah. Oh, is that a Generation 2 guy there? I recognize that color scheme. That is the Combiner Wars Menasor in his canceled Generation 2 colors.
Yep.
They were going to do him. They canceled him Combiner because people love unproduced things. His Combiner Wars figure got a repaint into that color scheme. Yeah, lovely. Yeah. I don't really have the space to do combiners, but I'm like, yeah, that was another one that I like drooled over for a little while.
So
Anthony,
what's that?
What do you, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Charlie. Go ahead.
I was going to say I picked them up pretty cheap because I was like, didn't want to buy like all the pieces, and I happened to held on to them for a while. I tried to sell them, but nobody really was interested in that.
Yeah, he shelf warmed for a while. I don't know about his American distribution, but in Canada he was just at a Toys R Us exclusive, so that box stayed on shelves for a long time. I love Generation 2. I don't think it's as beloved as I wish it was, so that's why.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Charlie, I noticed you got your stuff in a case, but Anthony, you don't. How do you keep the dust off your figures?
Well, I mean, the pragmatic answer is just that they don't stay on my shelves individually long enough to accumulate dust. Because, like, I tend to take them down so frequently because, either I'm doing the show and I'm pulling them down here or I'm taking photos for my reviews. Nothing tends to stay on my shelves for too long or, like, I'm rearranging them. So just usage is what keeps the dust away.
Gotcha. Okay. I always wonder that about guys who kept their stuff on open shelves like that.
Yeah. Well, like, I don't have a fancy glass case setup. All the shelves I have around me are literally just, like, scavenged. There's an IKEA shelf. There's, like, an ancient varnished shelf. There's a whole desk that nobody wanted, so I took that and... I just scavenge these things.
There's no shame in that. I do a lot of scavenging. I kind of make a living off of it.
Yeah.
The detops aren't too expensive. They seem to be going up in price, but you can find them at IKEA. I jumped on those. So that's the reason I like keeping everything closed in.
All right, Charlie, you cut out for me.
I was saying that detops are pretty cheap. Like on IKEA, you can find them somewhat cheap. They kind of went up in price a little bit, but I can't stand dust and stuff, so that's the reason I keep everything in case.
Yeah. And actually, you can find, like on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and the like old store displays. Like these used to be old store displays. You can find stuff like that on the cheap. Just somebody closing out and just needs to get rid of this stuff. Yeah, you can find the stuff on the cheap anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, compared to like those newer displays that you guys have to the older store displays, what is the weight wise for displays? Because I know the store displays, and Professor D would know this as well as we had a few in our store. The older store displays are extremely heavy.
If you're going the older store displays from like, I'm gonna guess 60s, 70s, a lot of them had both wood and glass in them, so they're gonna be heavy as crap. These are just straight glass, but these are store displays. These are straight out of KB Toys, but they're just straight glass, and they're not bad empty.
Okay.
Yeah, these are pretty light. I mean, they're all glass, but that's basically it.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, definitely. That's something like not something you're going to end up moving around anytime soon. It's just you set them and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, because these being all glass, I'm just scared to death to move them. Every time I had to move, just it was the first thing I moved, and everything was wrapped in bubble wrap, and oh god, they're a nightmare to move since it's all glass.
Oh wow, yeah, that would be terrifying to me.
Yeah, it was absolutely terrifying. As a matter of fact, on the case that was given to me from KB, see if you can get it over there. Yep. There's a crack in the glass on the front door here.
Oh no!
And it actually came from my dog, a dog I no longer have. But yeah, she bumped it. She fell off the couch and bumped into it, and it gave me that huge crack in the glass there. And then I think this one has a crack along the back mirror. I might be lying. It might be this one. It's this one. It's got a crack along the back mirror, but you can't see it past all the product. But that was from somebody had stolen my keys, and one of the keys was the key to get into the case, and I was moving, and I actually had to break the lock on the case to get into it to empty thing out and move it, and I ended up cracking the back of the glass on it too.
Wow.
So yeah, they're so delicate. They're lighter than the old wood ones, because I've had a few of the old wood ones, but yeah, they're delicate.
Oh, so his waist does rotate. I tell you exactly what would happen to me, because I'm a clumsy guy. I will stand up, trip over nothing, fall backwards, and break those. That is exactly what will happen to me.
Yeah, I learned to fall forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, fall down the stairs like the rest of us. You're just magic and fall up them.
Very few people can fall upstairs.
Because I'm just like most Transformers that are worth their salt are like fairly durable. So if I fall onto one of these shelves and some stuff falls off, it's typically not a big deal. But if it was something made of glass, that would be something else.
I had a MP01, the very first one that came out. I ordered it from Japan. Took a shelf dive and survived.
Wow.
That's good.
Wow.
I was like, holy cow. Almost started crying.
Yeah. I was going to say, much as one of the reasons, back to Transformers Armada, the figures that came out at that point were known to just be built like bricks, right? So when I was selling a bunch at TFCon there with a spin, our banner took out a whole shelf accidentally and knocked them all down. And they were all fine because they were made from that era where they were built like bricks. And I remember saying this on a Discord group I was on, and I was like, somebody was like, I'm pretty sure Armada toys could survive a drop from the Empire State Building and be okay, so...
That was quite a scene at that convention. The banner just knocking everything down. It's just like you just heard everyone gasp in just pure silence in this entire convention room for a few seconds.
Oh my god!
To their credit, everybody was coming over, yo, you guys okay? You need help? But it all worked out for the best. Maybe maybe we can just say it was a publicity stunt to draw attention to our booth.
This is true. Because then the second day, one of the event, volunteers came over and was like, "You sure you guys okay today?"
Have you guys been drinking today? Do you want one now? I actually had to repair my Jetfire because I had a vindictive ex-girlfriend who was mad at me one day. She literally walked over, opened up the case, reached into Jetfire, and just crushed.
Oh,
Broke his arm off. I actually had to repair him.
What about her?
we'll get canceled.
That's why she's an ex-girlfriend.
All right, that's the refined way to handle it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There we go.
Sheila Kobe says, I got a Hot Wheels Masters of Universe Land Shark for $1 at Wally World last week.
Oh, nice.
I almost picked
They reissued that, huh? Huh. Hot Wheels will reissue anything.
And Brad says, I've learned that you never know what's going to boom in popularity.
Yeah, I said this on another stream. The only Masters of the Universe thing I've ever watched is the live-action movie, and I had a lot of fun with watching that. It's a gorgeous, entertaining mess of a thing, and so I'm like, whenever those they're doing the Masterverse guys of He-Man and Skeletor from that, I'm like, those are the first time I'm going to pick up a He-Man thing, because I'm like, hey, those guys from that fun movie. I'll get that for a few dollars, you know?
I get them at Target right now.
Yeah. I haven't seen them up here, but we don't have Target up here.
Oh.
But, yeah, we got GameStop and...
Target being a French company and you guys don't have it?
We had it in Canada for, like, less than a year. They rolled out a big launch here. It crashed and burned miserably, and they all closed down. I feel like it wasn't too long. Like, was it a year? Was it like?
Yeah, I think a year at most. The aftermath was even it was just as bad, because they repurposed some older, larger department stores for these Targets. Target comes in and then it fails, and now you've just got these big open spaces of just the empty retail stores. And one of the malls in the east end of the city ended up rebuilding those empty spaces into smaller stores, because they're like, we just can't have a big space sitting doing nothing now.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. They put all that energy into building the space for the Target.
Yeah, it's like a study in like legendary marketing failures because of how like just like open and closed it was.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
My toy store that I worked at for 6 years, last I was in that state, it was still sitting empty. It closed down in mid 2004, and the place was still empty.
Wow.
Oh boy. Yeah, like to our credit, like the Target that we had in my nearby mall, it got turned into like a grocery store. So at least it's seeing like full use, arguably for something slightly more useful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the other one, on the other two that I know of, I believe one became a Costco, and then the other one was just split up into smaller stores. But it sat empty for about a year or two before they were able to reuse it.
Another one down in Bradenton, Florida. Like, that's the one I started going to. Like a upscale Kmart back. And then it just seemed like it kept growing up here. And now that's all. I mean, there's Walmart and Target all over the place here in Nebraska.
Yeah, I just found out that one of my favorite short tracks and racetracks in South Carolina is getting torn down for a Walmart. We've lost Palm Beach International Raceway to a Walmart distribution center. I mean, just thousands and thousands of acres of swampland around it, and they want to buy the racetrack and tear it down and put up a distribution center. Yeah, it's the last thing we need is another Walmart or a Target, honestly.
Yeah, like from where I live, I'm surrounded by about, I believe, 3 or 4 Walmarts. It's too many.
There we go. I mentioned this to them while you were away, but every copy of Transmetal 2 Megatron had this control for his neck installed upside down when it was manufactured. So I just took a screwdriver to it and I'm just putting it in the right way up.
Sound like me messing with the old Stomper trucks, because the old Stomper trucks, when they've been sitting for a long time, the gears get like dust in them, and they're so small that the dust actually keeps the gears from going. So you got to tear them apart. And yeah, you sound like me with the Stomper trucks. Yeah.
Wow.
I'll lose that. Nope, I got it. There we go.
So I should be, before I go back into the comments, so on Reddit, asking the question of what other toys or figures do you collect besides Transformers, and let's see, actually, there's quite a large number of replies for that one, and between, let's see, there we go, high grade Gundam and Jurassic Park Hammond collection.
Oh yeah. Jess has the Parasaurolophus from that because it's her favorite dinosaur.
One person says one hobby is expensive enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, Transformers and Lego.
You want to talk expensive hobbies? Reason I don't get into Lego is Lego costs.
Yeah, it really does.
Well, what's interesting, further down in the comments, someone mentioned, I believe they call it either no name or third party Lego, and they said it's the third of the price because they also complain about the cost of Lego.
I thought Lego had such a corner on that market that they weren't allowing knockoffs.
I thought so too. So today's the first I heard that, that a knockoff exists.
I had a knockoff when I was a kid that were called Bricks Blocks, but they were bigger than Legos. I mean, they could not follow the whole Lego scale. I know they could make them bigger or smaller. I think Duplo was another one. Duplo?
Yes. I had I still have a few of those, which is a part of kind of like the combiner that I made out of Lego. Because they were still compatible with Lego, to a certain extent, where I think it's like 2 or 3 smaller Lego pieces would join in with one of those bigger blocks, the Duplo blocks.
Yeah. Mega blocks were a thing. I think they still are a thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And those are literally the same.
They got the nano blocks where you can make little castles and all the other stuff. They're like really tiny.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is 10:45 our time, so we're gonna try not to go
by today.
I know, too late. So some more on Reddit. People also collect let's see, Gunpla, Power Rangers. Let's see, a few others. Another Jurassic Park, Master of the Universe, Star Wars, and G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Let's see, Menzinger Z.
Yeah. I'll tell you what it'll take to get me to get some G.I. Joe stuff. The Tom Scioli comic, Transformers vs. G.I. Joe. We need to make some figures based off of that with its crazy Silver Age art style and everything. They made a little vinyl guys. I have a few of those, but if they make some classifieds out of that, that'll have me. I'll go in on those. Love that comic.
Nice. Let's see, and Bionicles. I haven't heard of those in a while.
Yeah, those are huge amongst, like, there's a pretty big crossover amongst, like, the Bionicle community and the Transformers community, because they're both stories about robots with tons of lore behind them, and, you build one, you transform the other.
Let's see, Doctor Who, Godzilla, Halo, and Alien Predator.
Yeah.
There we go. They actually just called it rip-off Lego since the real stuff is too expensive.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a point. I got exactly, and I reviewed it on the website before. I have exactly one Lego thing, and it's the Sonic the Hedgehog set that they did because, that was a fan-designed one, and I know the person that designed the set. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I have a personal investment in that. But I'm like, that was like after taxes and everything, that was almost $100. I was like,
Wow.
this is a one-off thing. This is because I know the person that made this, and I got to watch it come together, and that was really cool. But like
That is
it was
really
a
cool.
it was a one-time thing. Oh, it's such a they should do this in other franchises. It's called Lego Ideas, and they just have software you can use to just build virtual Lego stuff. So people will just like pitch sets to Lego, and then they'll do like a vote for all bunch of them. They're like, these are the ones we've picked. Vote on the ones, and then the ones that win will go into production eventually. And so yeah, they designed a Sonic set. They pitched it. They ran a campaign for everybody to vote for it. People voted for it. Then like a year later, it got produced. So it's a really cool way to do things.
It is.
Yeah.
Let's see, some more to comments. Dragon Ball is something else they collect. Am Driver, Mask, and Dino Riders. Which I was surprised to hear Dino Riders. I haven't heard that in
That's
so
some
long.
expensive stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else? A little bit of Marvel Legends,
Same
occasionally
here.
Lego, Monster Hunter, Gundam figures, Star Wars Black Series.
Yeah, those are the 6-inchers. There's so many Hasbro 6-inch lines now, so that's the Star Wars one. It's G.I. Joe Classified, Star Wars Black Series, Power Rangers Lightning Collection, the Transformers Red. Probably a few others I'm forgetting right now.
Let's see, Robotech, Megazords, and Nerf.
Robotech expensive.
I've got some Robotech stuff.
Yeah.
Whew. Some, not.
Nerf is one of those things where I'm like, I know nothing about it. I just know people are really into it. I would like to hear somebody that's really into it talk about it, because I would like to see what the heck that's all about.
I mean, Nerf has been around like almost as long as Lego. Like, it's just that there's always something Nerf to play with, like football, gun or something. Let's see, a few other ones: Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, the Power Rangers, and Ninja Turtles, Nintendo characters.
Yeah, so that's me. That's with all my Samuses and Links and Zeldas and stuff.
Cool. Eagle
Who's
Monster.
Link and Zelda? I just wanted to see him go off again. Like, you didn't know who Samus was? What do you mean you don't know who Link and Zelda is?
Well, have you heard of The Legend of Zelda? It's really rad.
You don't know who Mario is?
It's that's my uncle.
Halloween masks and Funko Pop, G4 MLP Pokemon stuff, and die-cast cars and trucks.
I like that guy already.
Mm-hmm.
When people are like, "Oh, we collect Pokemon and Digimon," I'm like, "What does that mean in this context?" You're talking about like the ranges of figures that they've made. You're talking about the cards. You're talking about the games. That could mean so many things.
And it's
all of the above.
See, I'm cheating because I already have Kingdom Cheetor, so I know how Night Prowler works. So I pop them open. I don't even need the instructions or anything.
Wow.
That's one thing I don't get about modern collecting is Funko Pops. Don't understand that. It's like the Beanie Babies of our time.
That is what it is.
Yeah, the one appeal that I get, and I'm not into them, is that they get weird licenses. They get stuff that there's no merchandise for in any other format. So I'm like, I get that appeal if you're a fan of something like really niche. That's about all. That's about it.
I am, and I still haven't seen a Turbo Teen one or a Bigfoot and the Muscle Machines one.
And that's why don't they exist? That's the obscure stuff that's right up their alley.
Mm-hmm.
Turbo Teen is so obscure that they can't find all the episodes.
Oh wow!
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
only familiar with it because everybody always shares like a GIF of him transforming into a car.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's always spooky looking at it. I'm like, I was into this when I was a kid. So Steven says collections besides Transformers as a kid, Toy Biz, X-Men, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Fantastic Four, and McFarlane Spawn. But then as an adult, Mario Kart, Hot Wheels, and at least one of every kart and racer.
Yeah, I
That's
could
something
see
I
it.
haven't heard in a while.
Yeah.
Is the McFarlane Spawn stuff. I remember back in like the late '90s. I mean, that was all the rage. And
Yeah.
wow, now that I hear the name again, I haven't seen it in forever.
I vividly remember like the commercials with Todd McFarlane being like, "I did this to make the toys you asked for," and then it's like Spawn, Violator. Da, da, da. That's burned into my head.
Let's see what else we have. RJ Eagle says, also collect the Masters of Universe Origins, Masterverse, Marvel Legends, some NECA Turtles, Super 7 Thundercats, and some Star Wars Black, and even some Lego.
I yeah, it's exactly like how I have like one or two of a bunch of those things because that's just how I do it when it's not Transformers stuff. There, Ghost Cat.
Yeah, I hear him meowing back there.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, "Why are you not paying attention to me?" I'm like, "I'm doing a stream." So demanding. Our Flash Gordon and the Thundercats stuff before us, the Thunderbird stuff before us. I had a few of those as a kid, little die-cast ones.
I think those were a
Appreciate-
Matchbox product. I've had a lot of the dealers I mess with. They've messaged me saying that they've got the Thunderbird stuff. I'm like, before my time.
Yeah, Thunderbirds, I believe, would have been, I believe, late 70s.
Yeah.
Or early 70s, possibly. So they
I
were
thought early
before my time as well.
I
That's
mean,
really
they were still making toys of them when I was a kid because they were still showing reruns. I guess it's kind of an evergreen thing, you know?
Mhm.
Now, Flash Gordon was 1980, so that's a little more into my timeline anyway.
Yeah.
But Flash Gordon stuff and the Black Hole stuff is just so rare.
Mhm.
I mean, if you have anything for either one of those toy lines, I mean, you've got somebody's grail, and they will pay dear. Oh my God, they pay such dear prices for those.
Did they ever have any Buck Rogers toy lines?
Ooh.
Yeah, because I've seen the only character I would recognize is Ziggy, and I've seen him on a few of the. I go to a Tuesday night Facebook auction, and it's an action figure guy, and he comes up with a bunch of car stuff, and nobody buys the car stuff. So I go to him and I buy this stuff with. I'm unopposed, you know. But I notice a lot of the action figure stuff, and I've seen Ziggy on there. So somebody had to do Buck Rogers at some point in time because I guess the stickers on his chest are a big deal to have intact.
That'd be cool to see.
I wonder if they would have to robot Clayton, because he was the robot that came in after Ziggy, and it's like much later in the Buck Rogers series. So it's like I barely even remember any of the episodes, just between Buck Rogers, the lady, Ziggy, and Clayton, the robot.
Yeah.
I think because it was a robot is the only reason I remembered anything from Buck Rogers because it was shown when I was so little. I remember, this way he talked like, you know.
Yep.
That's all I remember of Buck Rogers, honestly.
So Custom Media and Creation says I plan on picking up Core Class on Rise of the Beast RC.
Me too. Looks great.
And also said you guys should check out Midnight Danger. It's a retro wave band. Sounds super 80s, but it's made in today's age.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard those guys because I listen to a lot of like long playlists of this stuff.
Oh God, me too.
Yeah. I just put it on while I'm like cooking or doing chores or something, and you know. So I feel like I've probably heard some of their songs. You know, again, the Midnight is my go-to right now, and so anybody out there listen to that.
Nice.
Anybody out there listen to that. 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 Anybody out there listen to that
And recently Custom Media Creation says, recently I turned my core class Optimus Prime into Bumblebee Movie Earth Mode Optimus. It came out pretty good.
Oh, I'd be interested in seeing that. What does that look like? I mean, I got the original right here, and they're pretty different in terms of their design. So I'd be interested in seeing how that looks. Is it on your YouTube channel? Maybe.
Hopefully they let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think they may have already left. So you know what? We'll try to message and find that out.
Yeah, because I'd be interested in seeing that myself.
And Brad is referring to earlier the oh dear, the crazy girlfriend is his mom.
No, no.
Oh, okay.
No. Now that we start going through the list of crazy girlfriends, no, nope.
And Custom Media Creations, I love the live action He-Man movie.
Yeah. It was fun. I watched it. I do a Saturday night movie night with some friends, and that where we just pull from a big list, and that was up one time, and I was like, this is nuts, and I dig it for that.
I know I should have watched it since it's a property of the 80s, but I was never into the cartoon, so I don't know anything about it. So I like go into that movie not knowing anything. So if they're referencing stuff I'm not going to know anything.
Hey, that was me. All I know is what I know from osmosis. I went in mostly blind outside of just, knowing, we all know who He-Man and Skeletor are. That's about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. And Fisto. Yeah.
Fisto is not in that movie. I can tell you that.
Well, yeah, because it's not X-rated. I'm sorry, my laughter was probably delayed because I got a delay on watching you guys.
Well, it's okay. It's just like, okay, it's like, where do you go from that one?
That's all, folks.
Yeah.
I'm part of the evil Skeletor group where it's nothing but those Skeletor memes. Oh my god, dude,
yes,
they're golden. Oh, they're so golden.
And what's crazy about them is, as insulting and offensive as they are, they're true. Like every one of those memes, I'm like, yeah, that's actually true. That's crazy.
That's when it's the funniest is when it's something true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You ever think about how what's the name of the Skeletor voice actor there? Robert Oppenheimer, I think.
Alan Oppenheimer.
Yeah, Alan Oppenheimer. How he invented this voice, and it's so embedded in our consciousness that whenever we see a skeleton person, we know that's what they sound like.
I don't want to feel good. I want to feel evil.
Yeah. Like a skeleton shows up in something, and I'm just thinking like he's like, rah.
Yeah.
Hard to believe that's the same voice for
like.
Warpath.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's a talented range.
Yeah. I think Beachcomber too.
Wow. That's very talented.
I might be wrong on that one, but I know for sure he's Warpath. I think the Transformer Con coming up in Orlando is going to be in October. And I think he's going to be one of the G1 voice actors that are going to be there. So before then, I've got to get my hands on a carded Warpath so I can take and increase my my autograph collection.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to go to.
Wonder how many people will just bring Skeletor's form to sign instead.
When I went to the voice acting signing, oh god, when was that? I think it was early 2020. They had a thing down here called MegaCon. They had both Frank Welker and Peter Cullen. I'd seen Peter Cullen a couple times, never got to meet Frank Welker. When I went to go meet him, the amount of Scooby stuff everyone had was kind of silly. There's some people in line with some Ghostbuster stuff. There's people in line like me that had the parts for my Megatron so we could sign my Megatron. One person brought a box Mirage to have him signed. That one person, the entire line, and it's the only person who thought of him voicing Mirage,
Mhm.
and brought a box Mirage for him to sign.
Everybody is somebody's favorite, so maybe they were just the biggest Mirage fan in the world.
Yeah.
So he's going to be disappointed with the new movie, huh?
Yeah, we haven't discussed the whole controversy between the Mirage Jazz and the Porsche.
I went
Compensation.
on that discussion. Yeah, I went in on that one.
Unrelatedly, if you see this wasp in the wild, run. Particularly if it's in these colors.
Yeah, and that at that size.
Yeah, that size or these colors. Oh yeah.
If I see a wasp, if I see a mechanical wasp that big, I'm going to swat it because I think it's probably just a government drone.
Yes.
It's from China.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not. It doesn't transform into a balloon.
Oh, and Brad Ertzenberger remembers. He says, "I remember that Target Canada was crazy. The stores were nuts, and then it just flopped, which is crazy because Target is so big in America. I don't know what happened. Maybe they're just like I mean, we got Walmart, we got Toys R Us, we got other things. Maybe there just wasn't like space if you weren't already entrenched, It was so weird."
Let's see. Yeah, and Alan Oppenheimer was Beachcomber and Sea Spray as well.
Oh, no, that's interesting. See, I didn't know that.
I'm
The
going
Sea Spray voice is basically Merman.
Yeah. Did Alan Oppenheimer also? I mean, did he also do Merman, or is that just like a coincidence?
Let me see. RJ Eagle, I agree with the extensive licensing for Funko Pops. I mean, 7-Eleven Slurpee Cups, Light Bright, and Barrel of Monkeys. Really obscure products.
That's how they get you. They're like, we're gonna find the number one 7-Eleven Slurpee mascot fan out there and sell him a Funko.
And Shiva Kobe says, "Oh God, Turbo Teen! I used to watch that."
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
I love Turbo Teen. And that's a testament to the design of the third generation Trans Am, starting off with Knight Rider, and Knight Rider was such a huge hit that you saw Trans Ams everywhere.
Yeah.
In Turbo Teen, even there was a bad guy who drove a Trans Am in the Bigfoot and the Muscle Machines, and I mean, you just couldn't get away from them in the 80s because of Knight Rider.
You guys have a good night. I'm going to have to get to bed.
All right, Charlie.
All right, take care.
Time zones
You too.
being what they
Have a
are.
good week.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks. Bye.
Just trying to get this scorpion transformed, seeing if I can do it from memory. Worked for Waspinator.
And Brad says, "I'm curious about it. Does anyone know about the Ninja Turtles tour from the 90s? I'm very interested to see it and get the tour book / VHS in my collection."
I've seen internet videos about it, so I know it was a thing.
Wow.
I remember. Go ahead.
It was called "Coming Out of Their Shells." I remember
Shells.
that.
Yep, that was the name of the song on the. Well, it was the name of the album. Name of a song on the album. I know that album by heart to this day because I got the tape from Pizza Hut when it first came out.
Pizza Hut, that's a natural promotion.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. And I think I wore that tape out as a kid.
Wow.
The music on it was actually pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
but the tour wasn't.
Unless they have a bringing back the 90s Ninja Turtles tour. So someone should do that.
Yes, absolutely. Because I would totally go see it. I don't care how bad it was. I'd totally go see it.
Isn't that just the way of things? We're just like, oh, it was terrible, terrible, terrible. If they bring it back, I'm showing up. I don't care.
Yep. Now, apparently, where I'm from, where I lived as a kid, apparently they showed up there, which is really weird because it is a smaller town. But I guess my parents' friends bought tickets because they heard the Turtles were coming to town. So they bought they went all in, bought front row tickets, backstage passes, everything, because
Wow.
they thought it was the Turtles band from like the
Oh.
late 60s or something.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, and then they get there and they wonder why all these little kids are in the audience, and then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles come out on stage.
oh, well, that's kind of amazing.
That's funny. Wow.
Yeah, like how did you not see all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff coming in? I mean, I guess maybe it was around that time where the movies were so big, you
Yeah.
saw it everywhere or something. I don't know, and they just kind of pass it up. But yeah, it's
Wow.
I don't know if they got their money back or they just hung their heads in shame and walked out.
Or they stuck around for the show on general principle.
Yeah. So Brad says, I really want to see that. It looks cool. I've seen the tour book and the promo looks like fun. I would have loved to be there for that. And Steven says, Brad, I went to the one of the TMNT live music tour as a kid at a theater that at the time was called the Mosque, since it looked like a mosque and still does. Now because of PC, it's called the Altria Theater.
Yeah, I watched some footage on YouTube of the tour, and Shredder comes out with this song called "I Hate Music," and I'll be damned. It wasn't a good song. Don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
and it wasn't on the Coming Out of the Shells album. But that stupid song was stuck in my head for 3 days. Cruel and unusual punishment, and you want to interrogate somebody to play them that song just once and just leave the room for a while.
No, I have to look that one up, see if I can find that song anywhere.
I actively avoid it now because I don't want it stuck in my head for 3 more days.
Mhm.
It's like you don't even like it by the end.
I didn't like it at the beginning. What are you talking about? I was like, what is he? That's not, what is going on? What is happening? This isn't music, or is it? I don't know. Why am I moving? Stop that. What?
Show tunes.
That's how they get you.
Oh, yep. Well, it is after 11 our time, and it was an amazing episode. So I think we should, call it an evening. But actually, just before we go, I watched your GoBots video, and that one combiner where the robots sit in each, I guess, in each of the components within the combiner. I forgot that existed. I mean, technically, it's almost like a Power Master combiner, which the Transformers never had.
Yeah, kind of. I guess you could say that. There is no difference in between like the Guardian and Renegade. It's just, other than coloring, it's the same exact suits.
Okay.
It's the same exact toy. It's just colored differently for each faction.
I didn't even remember they had a Renegade one. Like somehow I just recall the one for the good guys.
Yeah, the in the case in the video, the black one that's kind of across from the white and blue one is the Renegade one.
Got it.
I actually, you know what? I've gotten a lot of crap for uploading the GoBot video.
Really?
Yeah. You know, people discount Transformers, and Transformers are so much better, and this and that and the other thing. I'm almost tempted to make a video defending GoBots. But I'm thinking about it because I actually went on Amazon Prime, and the only place you can get the GoBots episodes is on Amazon Prime, and it's like $20 a season. Wow. So I bought the first season just for like research purposes, you know. So I'm researching it now, watching all the old episodes again, and I will probably make a video like that.
You know what? And I think at some point in the future we'll have just a GoBots episode, because I think it really is a generational thing where a lot of people don't realize. Before we were playing with Transformers, all of us had GoBots because Transformers didn't. You know, Hasbro didn't buy Diaclones yet. Transformers didn't exist to us yet. We had GoBots.
No, they were introduced the same year. GoBots beat Transformers to market by like 6-7 months, something like that. But because of the price point, yeah, there probably were some of us that had GoBots before Transformers because the price point was so low.
Oh yeah.
I think when you're a little kid, 6 to 7 months is like a lifetime.
I was just thinking that too. So yeah, as an adult, be like, oh, they both came out in the same year, just like Mask coming out in '85. But as a kid, it's like it's a lifetime between the two.
Especially when it doesn't have a cartoon to accompany it, because when GoBots came out, it wasn't fall yet. The toys came out way before the cartoon did, and the cartoon aired in the fall. So for a while, there's all these GoBot toys on the shelf and no cartoon to accompany it, which sounds really crazy for the '80s.
But it worked because myself and I remember a whole bunch of us, we all had these GoBot toys where like, wherever we got them from or however, like, we had them. So we didn't even like know of the cartoon or anything behind them yet.
Yeah, that's true. And, I remember on the playground as a kid, I saw very few Transformers because they were so expensive. Again, price point on the GoBots.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed like everybody had a GoBot because of the price point. They were cheaper. Yeah. And on top of that, I guess they were small enough you can fit in your pocket and bring to school. Not that Bumblebee wasn't, but...
Right.
I always take this time to shout out Tom Scioli's... we're okay. Tom Scioli's GoBots comic. This is from a few years ago. He's the same guy that I mentioned earlier, did the G.I. Joe crossover. So it's drawn like it's old, like Silver Age kind of art, and it's his take on it. This is a very good series if you're interested in GoBots. It's a weird series, but it's really interesting.
Yeah, I see the power suit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very dark because he likes to write like weird and distressing things, but yeah. So this is the thing these days. This is the most recent thing they've done, basically.
I am going to have to look that up because the cartoon is very light. It's a Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Yeah.
So it's very light.
It was like the opposite of that. I think it was like 6 issues. Nice little mini series. Oh yeah, check out the Scorpion I just finished. This is something out of Nightmares. Reminds me of a Mighty Max creature, if anybody remembers those.
Mighty Max. Name sounds familiar.
It was like a bunch of micro play sets from the 90s. They'd unfold up and there was like little minifigures that could go in. And it was all about like creepy crawlers and, horrible, nasty things. So this fits right in with that aesthetic.
Cool. So I guess out of the handful of gifts, what do you have for... Actually, no, because I guess those would be for the following weeks. Yeah, so what do you have for tomorrow's review?
Let me go get it. I'm like, hey, you know how there's a new movie and there's a new studio series, Ironhide, based on '84? Well, I'm still going back and I'm talking about the one from the Bumblebee movie this week. Finally finished off my shelf of Bumblebee movie Autobots with this guy. So I'll have his review and photos up tomorrow on Children of Primus.
Cool. And Vintage, it's been a bit of pleasure for having you on here again. And where can people find you?
TOYWARP Vintage Reviews on YouTube, obviously, is the channel. That's the bread and butter where all the good videos are and all the good entertainment. I'm also on Facebook. I got a TOYWARP Vintage Reviews page on Facebook, and that's about it. Honestly, I wasn't going to really branch TOYWARP out until I got over 1,000 subscribers. So, feel free to tell your friends to subscribe and everything and get us to that 1,000 subscriber rate. And then I was actually going to start Facebook groups and do a whole bunch of other stuff with it. But with TOYWARP kind of being my side project, time is a big factor, in between the two channels and working and everything. So, but yeah, that's where they can find me.
Cool. And a couple of comments before we go. Shiva Kobe says, "Cheers, guys." Steven says, "I got that Scorponok to paint into Japan BotCon. B-Swords Double Punch."
Oh, I wish they'd make that guy. It's a version of Scorponok they did that was like clear red. It's really cool looking. If they repaint this guy into him, I'm absolutely down for that.
Cool. And RJ Eagle says the Turtles band featuring Davy Johnson and Krang. Cool. Well, yes, it's been an amazing episode once again, and thank you. Thank you to all the comments, everyone. Subscribe when you get a chance to, and subscribe also to TOYWARP Vintage Reviews on YouTube.
Shiba Kobe, I seen that you subscribed. I thank you for that.
Cool. And actually, we just hit 100 subscribers just recently, so
nice.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely start, thank everyone for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So on that note, I wish everyone a good evening, and then thank you for coming out.
Yeah. I gotta clean this stuff up and then mess around with it a little more methodically. This room is just covered in stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite the box. That's congratulations on that.
Thanks.
Yeah, seeing your face on the Tudor, man, that was great.
Yeah. I think out of all the stuff here, like, this is the one that fires the nostalgia the most, because I'm like, I had this one back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. I'm gonna be able to do a write up on it and talk about it. So
look
forward
for sure
to that in the future.
Hey, I'm the guy that does the vintage reviews around here. No.
Yeah. If my cat doesn't try to destroy it first, because she's obviously jealous of it being here.
Too many cats in one house.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's
guys,
be glad my dog isn't big enough to. I mean, let's be glad my dog isn't jealous of other dog toys or anything, because she's a pit bull and she'd go right through this glass if she wanted to. Yeah, let's be glad there's no dog transformers.
Well, Shiba Kobe says, "Yep, subscribed to you a couple of weeks ago, and cat now pay attention to me."
Yeah, that's pretty much in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, it was a blast as always. Anytime you invite me to come on, I'm going to come on. So
All right,
I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. All right, thank you, and good night to everyone.
Mm-hmm. She says good night too.